radio is what the Q's for in QAM.
Yes.
Goodbye, Miguel. You did your job real well, but that's not what they're looking for at Beasley Reed. You weren't satisfying certain needs, like loyal sport Holt Marguerite, high-kissing big fat asses. We think very highly of you here at BBGI, but I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go.
Hey, what the heck? A better job you'll get, where at least you'll get a check. And far away from sport old fans that can't get laid.
You fairy.
Your friends wish all of the best luck to you.
I don't know what else I can tell you, Miguel. I just don't know what to do.
Or say, or whatever. It's a 10:02 at 560 WQM. Happy Tuesday, El Diez de Julio.
Okay.
Whatever that means. It's the 10th of July.
See.
And we're going to make 1,000 votes on the poll today. Now, what were you going to tell me on the air, Chris, or off the air?
Oh, Josh wants to say he needs a check.
It's in the mail. It's already on the way.
See, I told you it was really important.
It's already on the way. Let me say it again. Mailed it on Friday. It's on the way. Mailed it to George, though. Now, George might just sign Josh's name on the back. He might endorse it as Josh Cordes, because George needs that grand, you know?
Yeah, at least.
So if it doesn't show up, Josh, I'd beat up George, okay? Tom Jicka gives me another little mention here. It's not even a shtuch, not a shot. How do you like that in this Q&A column yesterday? Now, obviously nobody is reading that because we didn't get any faxes, of this, did we?
No.
No, see? Nobody reads your stupid column, Tommy. Question. I would appreciate knowing where or on what station Greg Budell is now working. Oh, yeah. I think it's Amico. Answer. Budell has a show on a station in Montgomery, Alabama. He says it can be heard on the web at alice961.com. His goal is to someday return to Miami. He jokes that he wants to be the one who takes over Neil Rogers' show whenever Neil decides to step down. That is not going to happen, says little Tommy. That's not my comment. That's Tom Jicka's comment. That is not going to happen. Great perspicacious on your part, little Tommy. It is not going to happen. And I would suggest you are probably...
Absolutely correct, sir.
They hate you, Greg. They don't like guys named Greg in this market, okay? Greg Reed, Greg Budell. Guys named Greg have never made it too good. Remember Grego?
Yeah.
Oh. You know, I think Grego ought to hook up with Vocamper. They could do a show about the smells in the tea room, you know? And actually, Chris tells me, a little spy report, they really had the right-wing, born-again, Bible-thumping, homophobic Mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Jim Naugle, on here yesterday on the morning show. It's Homophobia Express in the morning, baby. That's what the sports nerds want, even though these are guys who take showers together naked and slap each other on the ass or with their hand, with a towel, with whatever accoutrement they can get their hands on. See, when a guy has his hand on another guy's ass, you know what, there's only one word that comes to my mind.
Gay.
That's correct. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I don't think so. Anyway, we'll get to that whole thing about when Neil hangs it up. What did it say? When Neil decides to, step down. Here's a great story. An 11-year-old girl was charged with drunken driving after leading police on a chase at speeds of up to 100 miles an hour that ended when she flipped the car in an Alabama beach town. 11-year-old girl, no less. A video camera in the police car captured a look of surprise on the officer's face when he approached the wrecked car and got a look at the motorist. The Mobile Press-Register newspaper said the patrolman saw the Chevy Monte Carlo. Oh, I used to have a couple of those. One of which, I don't want to go into a whole thing about it, and because then I'd have to tell you the dealer down there in South Dade, and they kept accusing me of using leaded gas in it or something like that, because it had no acceleration. You'd put your foot through the floor, and it just would barely move, you know. It had issues, Monte Carlo. Nice cars, though. Remember those?
Sure, they look nice.
They still make them?
I think so.
Speeding and flashed his lights to signal the driver to stop. Instead, the car sped faster, traveling at up to 100 miles an hour before it sideswiping another vehicle and flipping over in the Gulf Coast town of Orange Beach, Alabama, Tuesday night. The young driver, who lived in nearby Perdido Key, Florida, was treated at a hospital for scrapes and bruises and released to relatives. Police also charged her with speeding, leaving the scene of an accident, and reckless endangerment. Car belonged to a relative, and police were still trying to find out where she got the booze. There was none in the vehicle, but her blood alcohol level was over the limit for adult motorists. Well, she was just having a good time, that's all. She was out there, that's what they call a joyride, okay? Maybe she got inspired by Paris Hilton, you think? Let's only pray not. Or here's a poll suggestion. It says if QM had this is cute, held a competitive eating contest among the staff in town, who would you bet on to win? The Beast, the Humper, it says prohibitive favorite, Kim Bocamper, Neil, George Rodriguez, the Dark Horse, or Chris.
I tell you, I would.
The Dark Horse. I always thought you were kind of like pasty and very white, but it says you're the Dark Horse. I guess they ain't never seen you.
No, they haven't seen my ass.
That's pretty weak, but we might go with that. Raymond Burr was Canadian.
All right, whatever.
I mean, I knew he was gay, but I didn't know he was Canadian.
I did not know he was Canadian.
I did not know he was dead. Poor Mo, man. I think we injured his life once he found out that Raymond Burr was
gay.
Not a guy like that, not a macho guy, not Perry Mason, not Ironside. He's too macho to be
gay.
But he just after that he was never the same again. You know. Here's the poll from yesterday that George had. Now George had 591 votes. We already have 685.
Yeah, already.
Of course, I started this poll about 6 o'clock last night.
I know.
Hey, listen, I'm not trying to, show off. We are the poll experts. It's about all we got going anymore on this show. That's what Tom Jicka says. Now that I should hang it up so Greg Bedell can come in and take my job. Hey, Greg, the audience despises you, whether you're in Alabama with or without a banjo on your knee. And it's pretty obvious from reading that answer there that Tommy's been in contact with Greg Bedell. He called him up, I guess. He still fantasizes that he's a talk show host, just like a footy. How's his talk show coming, by the way? Oh, and guess what? Mancow's still got in the book.
Huh.
Aren't you impressed by that? Even with all those billboards, he's still got a point something. Here's the poll from yesterday. George asked, what should become of the N-word? Now, that's not because they were all doing this. We're going to bury the N-word.
That is because of the funeral. That's right, the funeral for a friend.
The funeral for the N-word. How about a funeral for the people who had the funeral is what I say. Because what they were really trying to tell us was...
I have no line.
Right. What should become of the N-word? 591 votes. It should be okay for anyone to use openly for any reason. 210. That's what I voted. It's a word, baby. I'm all for real free speech. Not make-believe free speech. Not ersatz free speech. Not whenever you feel like it, you can say maybe what's on your mind. Free speech, okay? If you want to say the N-word, you go ahead and say it. You say it, not me.
Well, that's what I voted for, but nevertheless.
Me too. It should never be used by anyone for any reason. 184. That was a very respectable, well, I don't know why I say respectable, a very solid second.
Rock solid.
That's right. It should be okay for anyone to use it openly, but not as an insult, 107. Well, I don't think that I don't even know. I don't know how they're using it because I don't listen to that rap crap. But I do like, what's her name, though? Rihanna.
Right.
It should only be used when there are no black people around 60. Well, they're the ones who are using it, for Christ's sakes. Who voted this? What kind of morons voted on that? In other words, it's okay to say it, but just behind her back. Like if Bocamper used the C word, if it said coon or something like that. And it should only be used by black people, and guess how many said that?
About 30, man.
Yeah. In other words, you can say it. And like faggot. It's okay for faggots to say that, like me, you faggot. But if straight people say it, that's bad.
You fag.
Spick.
Oh, what a giveaway.
Yeah. Anyway, here's today's poll results so far. Boy, they're all whipped up about this little plane crash in Orlando. There are 3 people injured and 2 people... was anybody dead, or I didn't see that thing? I would assume so. A couple of houses, and they're all whipped up about that in Sanford, no less. Sanford is where they used to have the racetrack, harness track, and then, or is that Castleberry? I get confused. Do you know the difference? I think it was Castleberry.
No.
And then they had the dog track there. I don't think they got it in No Mo in Sanford, up by Orlando. Small plane crashed, and there are like 2 houses. Just the interesting part of it is the one house is like burned to the ground. They're putting out the fire. And the house next to it doesn't even have like a scratch on it. Wouldn't that piss you off?
Mm-hmm.
If your house got smashed into by a falling aircraft and then caught on fire and burned to the ground, and your next door neighbor's house is clean and pristine.
That must have been the house with not adequate insurance.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's how they choose.
Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a setup deal. 705 votes already on today's poll. It's not a bad poll. Whose is this? Charlie B again? Yeah, it's another Charlie B poll. Hey, Charlie, your polls are fine, but quit sending me stupid emails on MySpace. Oh, he sent me something I forget what it was about. Oh, it was about Hank. It was a gratuitous shot at the humper for eating again, and how he got all ballooned up like that and got up to 800 pounds, stuff like that. That's bad, Charlie B., okay? Quit picking on the humper, my good close buddy. Is he on today? What's on the schedule today before we do the poll? Mad Dog at 2. Yes, he is on. The Power Hour, time to take a shower naked with Mad Dog and a humper 4 to 5. What a thought that is. Hank from 5 to 7. Then we got Dolphins, Miami Dolphins All Access from 7 to 8. It's abbreviated because we got the Major League Baseball All-Star Game at 8 o'clock tonight. Any interest in that?
No.
Will I be watching?
No.
Listening?
No.
Paying any attention?
No.
Who cares? And we had the Home Run Derby last night. Wow. I mean, there's the Kentucky Derby, but there's the Home Run Derby. That's really important stuff. Here's the poll. Now that Bob Barker and Rick Shaw have retired, what other old coot or broadcast legend that is should seriously considering hanging it up? Larry King is kicking ass. By the way, I'm only going to read the ages this one time. Larry is 73, 209 votes. He's got more than twice anybody else. Andy Rooney, who's 88, 102. Paul Harvey, also 88, 100. Good day. Barbara Wawa, she's 77, and she's got 72 votes. Regis has got 75. He's 75 years old. He's got 54 votes. See, if I give the age out and the numbers, it's confusing. The humper edged ahead of me. I was leading him up until now. Hank is 67. He's got 45 votes. I'm 64, and I got 42 votes. And Chris is really pissed off about that. Don't you dare hang it up. I need the job.
Exactly.
G. Gordon Liddy is 76 years old, 37 vote. Roger Ebert, 65. He's not looking too good these days, 15 vote. Keith Jackson, 78, 14 votes. I thought he did retire, Chris, whatever your name is.
I think he retired, then he came back, so I don't know.
He came back?
Yeah, he was only doing West Coast games and stuff, so is he still doing that or what?
Oh, Nelly. John McLaughlin, 80. That's his age. He's got 10 votes. And Morley Safer, 75 years old. He's only got solamente cinco. Soltanto cinque. Out of 717. We got the 1,000 looked easy today. And you want to know why? That's because I'm back today. I got a 6-day winning streak at Woodbine. How do you like that? All right. All right is right. It's a miracle, baby. It's a major miracle.
Great.
It'll never happen again. They said it couldn't be done. 10:13 at 560 WQAM.
Neil God. Coming up next on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Aristotle.
I've always been religious. I went to Catholic school as a child, and I've always had a sense of spirituality, but even more so now after being in jail.
Did you read the Bible in jail?
Yes.
You read it every day?
Yes.
What's your favorite Bible passage?
I have no idea. I just am living my life.
I am so sorry, not smarter than a fifth grader.
It's 10:18, dumber than a box of sawdust. 10:18 at 560 WQM. Happy Tuesday to you. We got 737 votes on that poll. We are off to the races, baby. Chris assures me that we'll make the 1,000 or else.
I thought
he's going to walk right out the door at 2 o'clock and never return. Senator David Vitter, Republican of Louisiana, apologized last night for very serious sins in his past after his telephone number appeared among those associated with an escort service operated by the so-called D.C. Madam. Oh, my goodness, he had fire in his pantaloonies, I guess. Vitter's spokesman, Joel DeGrado, confirmed the statement in an email sent to the A&P. Now, what do you prefer, the A&P or Loblaws?
Neither.
This one, now, you never shopped at Loblaws. It's a pretty damn good store, although I've never shopped at the ones here. They have them here. Would you believe that?
Huh. I've shopped at A&P.
Have you really? Where?
In the Northwest.
They have A&P at the Northwest?
Well, they used to. I haven't been there in a while.
Well, there's nothing like stopping in the A&P. This was a very serious sin in my past for which I'm, of course, completely responsible, Vitter said in the statement. He was diddle-dallying, another one of these Republican, it's just whatever they are. Several years ago, I asked for and received forgiveness from God and my wife and confession and marriage counseling. Out of respect for my family, I'll keep my discussion on the matter there with God and them. But I certainly offer my deep and sincere apologies to all I've disappointed and let down in any way, said the right-wing, phony, baloney, hypocrite, full-of-crap senator. The statement containing Vitter's apology said his telephone number was on old phone records of Pamela Martin and Associates before he ran for the Senate. He was diddling. Deborah Jean Palfrey was accused in federal court of racketeering by running a prostitution ring that netted more than $2 million over 13 years. That's not very much. $2 million over 13 years? What's the big deal with that? Even George makes, in 13 years, much more than that. Beginning in 1993, she contends, however, that her escort service, Pamela Martin and Associates, was a legitimate business. Vitter, 46, a Republican in his first Senate term, was elected to the Senate in 2004. He represented Louisiana's 1st Congressional District in the House from 1999 to 2004. He and his wife, Wendy, live in Metairie, Louisiana, with their 4 children. Well, they got 4 kids. Well, he must be doing something at home, too. He's doing it on the outside. Well, this was before here. I don't know. He's doing it. He's doing the old salami slide is what he's doing, and not necessarily always with his wife. You know, with whoever's around at the time, whoever's available. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Speaking of sex and perversion and stuff that we really enjoy, and who the hell doesn't? So evidently our homophobic morning show yesterday had the unctuous, right-wing, born-again, Bible-thumping, homophobic lunatic mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Jim Naugle, on as a guest. Because I heard Miss Beaucamper promoting it last Thursday morning. And, of course, you know what Beaucamper says. Well, you know, it's really a shame every time you take your kid or your nephew into a public restroom, there's 2 guys in there doing stuff, you know. And I keep asking everybody I know if they've ever encountered that, and I have yet to encounter anybody besides Miss Beaucamper who's encountered that. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I just have never had the misfortune.
Heard of it. As a matter of fact, only recently have I heard of it when that, you know, the Channel 10 story came out and then we started talking about it. I was oblivious.
You were oblivious?
Yeah.
There are guys who are diddling in the tea room?
You know what? That never would have occurred to me because of all of the unsexy places I can think of. That's top of the list.
Now, you, I guess, have never been to J.C. Penney's at Westland.
No. Can't say that I have.
They're doing the limbo rock there is what we've been hearing for
years.
And of
Bathrooms
course,
are
when you see guys, listen, you know, when you see guys doing the limbo rock in the tea room, you know what they're doing.
You're looking for glory holes.
That's right. And that's J.C. Penney's in Westland. Well, that's Hialeah, you know, it's your people. They tend to be a little bit on the thorny side.
Okay.
Mayor Jim Naugle may be getting a lot more paperwork, says the Sun Sentinel. Gay rights activists in the state have launched a drive to engulf the Fort Lauderdale mayor with toilet paper to mock his comments about gay sex in public bathrooms. Only the morning show on this station would dignify his idiocy by actually giving him a forum on which to spew his lunacy. And that's because Kim Beaucamper is in full homophobe mode now. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a remake of Bare Ass Mounting, starring Kimba Beaucamper and one of his former teammates. I'm not really sure which one. Maybe A.J. Dewey would be good. I liked him. Who'd be on top and who'd be, well. Gay activists have launched this drive. We're encouraging people to mail either a roll or several sheets of toilet paper to the mayor at City Hall to help him wipe his dirty mind clean, said Brian Winfield, spokesman for Equality Florida, gay rights organization that helped start the toilet paper protest on Friday. The uproar started after Naugle's comments in a July 4th article in the Sun Sentinel about the city's plan to buy a $250,000 self-cleaning robotic toilet for beachgoers. The device could be programmed with a time limit after which the door would fly open. Well, what if you got like the screaming green apple quick step or something like that? I mean, you might be in there for a while. You don't want the door to be flying open.
Right.
And nobody else who's around sure as hell wants it either.
Right.
In the article, Naugle was quoted as saying the toilet can prevent homosexual activity that has occurred at other public restrooms. Sometimes public restrooms are used for sexual activity. Most of it's men meeting men because it's same-sex people in the bathrooms, Naugle said.
Most of it.
No, maybe not. Maybe there's women in there, too. Maybe there's guys and gals and kids.
I've never seen that either.
Dogs and goats. Maybe old goats like Beaucamper. Equality Florida has provided a link on its website to send Naugle a virtual roll of toilet paper and listed a City Hall address for those who want to send a real roll. Naugle said no actual toilet paper rolls have arrived at his office. However, more than 300 people have emailed the mayor a virtual roll, Winfield said. It's an email, some juvenile diagram of a toilet, Naugle said. Last year, police made one arrest for such activity in a beach bathroom and another at the Coral Ridge Mall. That couldn't be near the Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church and the D. James Kennedy, could it? Because the Lord's going to be really porked off about that. They made one arrest at such activity in a beach bathroom, another one at the Coral Ridge Mall. So that sounds like two to me. I could be wrong about that, but that sounds like uno and uno sounds like dos to me, as in let's get a dose of reality here. Like there's an epidemic of this stuff going on? Not. Only in Kim Beaucamper's mind and Jim Naugle's mind. Ever see the two of them together?
No, now that you mention it.
7:57. I've flown on those. Oh, I do like that new 787, by the way. Did you see that? That's a sleek machine man, the 787.
No, I ain't seen it. No.
Oh, that's right. You ain't going to fly it anyway.
That's right. I don't have no money. I can't go nowhere.
Well, come on. Let's take up a collection for George. He's whining again about he ain't got no money. Wah, and his wife is a bitch. And, wah, you know. And he's got that one kid he didn't want in the first place. Wah. And we commiserate with you wholeheartedly. By the way, is Hank Guerrero still working there, or is it just a figment of my imagination?
I see him around.
Yeah, he's still here.
He's what?
He's still here.
Well, no, I only say that, tongue in your cheek, because it just, he just, it has nothing to do with this spot, but it's just another one coming later on. He just, copy ain't him, man. He learned very well. Probably Todd Dreck taught him. Oh, don't worry about that Rogers, about that fat faggot. We don't do copy here, okay? That's not in our, it's not in our thing. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
Do you ever see him, Hank Guerrero?
Yeah, I see him in the hall.
Tell him he's an a-hole next time you see him. Give him a message from me.
Nah.
Tell him Neil says you're an a-hole.
Nah, not worth it. Not worth the effort.
A pendejo. Oh, no.
I thought it was pendejo.
Is it really?
Well, that's how we say it.
No, in Mexican it's pendejo. I don't know how
That's what I said.
Well, I didn't want to say it the right way.
I think the Mexicans say pendejo also.
If you say it the wrong way, then it's not the word. It's like Schmidt,
Right. It's pendejo.
What did I say?
Pendejo.
Oh, good. See, you do the dirty words. I'll just make up ones that don't exist.
Nothing dirty about it.
Then I'll be safe. Well, that all depends on how much of that toilet paper from Jim Naugle that you're keeping and how much you're sending out. When in doubt, send some out. In fact, I'm thinking of maybe using some and then sending it to the mayor. That sounds like a good way to me. Remember those tests that they were those rectal tests that they had? That was many years ago. Channel 4 did a thing. And their intentions were good. They were trying to help people catch colorectal cancer very early. And so they had these kits that they sent you, and you had to smear a little something there and then put it in the mail, in an envelope. And the postmen were swooning. That was the word I'll never forget as long as I live. That was the actual word in the newspaper article in the Herald. There were postmen swooning. They were going into a coma from the aroma of the envelopes. Is that bad or what?
No.
Not good. 27 past 10. I know it sounds strange, too strange to be true, but it's a South Florida thing, Let's put some crap on some paper and let's send it through the mail to Jim Naugle, okay?
Absolutely.
You fairy.
I woke up after only sleeping for a couple hours. I was being chased by AT&T towers. With my old clunky Sally by my bed. And my head aches when I think of the money I have blown. I'm out of cash and the bank says I cannot get a loan to buy the iPhone. He needs the iPhone. I want it because it's a real wowzer. It has its own web browser, along with Wi-Fi, email, and iPod. I'll check out every Apple store from LA to Bayonne. Because I need this sucker like my doggy needs his bone. Let's grab an iPhone. He needs the iPhone. Hello, I'm here for the iPhone.
Yeah, we're out of it.
What?
We're sold out?
You can't be sold out. They just went on sale.
No, you can have one in a few months.
I can't wait a few months. I gotta have one now.
No, not gonna happen. But
I need to have the iPhone.
No, you gotta wait.
No, I can't wait.
I'll put you on the list.
Oh. It will be a living hell if I have to keep my stupid Excel.
God, I love that color screen. Service light is always green. Coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I need the iPhone. Both my kids will disown. All they'll do is bitch and moan until they get the iPhone. All right, quit kidding around. I need the iPhone.
So get out of the store.
What do you mean get out of the store?
Get out. I don't want you.
So you got your iPhone yet or what? No.
No.
Chris? No.
Yeah, right. What is it, like $600?
You can't afford it? Is that what you're trying to say? You crying poor mouth again? The audience is going to start getting real tired of that crap real soon.
I let you do it for me.
Unless what?
I let you do that for me.
Do what?
Cry me poor.
781 votes on the poll today. We got a nice poll going thanks to our good close friend Charlie B., who I wish would stop sending me stupid emails. But nevertheless, keep the polls coming, Charlie. Cut out the email. And by the way, Al Rogers, if you ever send me another email, I'm going to send the Randy Rhodes to your house to stalk your stupid ass.
That was some stunning news there.
Wasn't that amazing? See, I mean, out of sight, out of mind. So when I first saw him on there many days ago, on our MySpace. By the way, we have 1,470 MySpace friends. Pretty impressive. I bet you Miguel would be proud of that if he wouldn't have gotten screwed and fired. Oh, and speaking of that... Now, did you tell the story, or did this happen last night about his replacement, about this goofball from Raleigh?
Nothing happened, and it had nothing to do with that guy. It had to do with some other guy. The thing that didn't happen. Look, I told you the story. Just make sure that you get it right before you tell this story about this thing that didn't happen.
It didn't happen?
That we didn't. Yeah, it did happen, but we didn't hear it from anybody, except for Chris.
Oh, Chris was telling us about it before the show this morning.
Because he was there.
Because I drove by and saw it.
Well, you can tell it on the air in a minute.
Do I have to?
No. But the new guy certainly hasn't distinguished himself, to say the very least. He got the station Hummer towed.
Well, it wasn't him. It was some other guy.
Or is it, why do you say that now?
No, that's what I said then, and you're gonna change it.
It was some other guy?
It was another guy in the promotions department, some $5 an hour flunky or something. With an attitude.
I thought you said it was the new guy. That's what Chris said.
No one said that.
Oh.
Not for real or for fake.
Plus, I don't want to listen to any more of you speaking Spanish. I'm never going to do that again. Now that Bob Barker and Rick Shaw have hung it up, what other old coot, broadcast old coot, should hang it up? 783 votes. Larry King is kicking the competition's ass. 232. Yeah, 232. He's way out there on his own. As he should be. Andy Rooney, 117. What the hell was that? Did you hear that?
I heard something. I thought it was from here.
No, it was a truck horn. It was a horn.
Yeah, I thought it was outside
Canadian,
here.
That was nasty. Oh, no, it's the streetcar. What the hell's the streetcar doing on that street? Maybe that's why it's blowing the horn. There's not supposed to be no streetcar on that street. Wow. Look at that. People are wondering, what the hell's going on here? Andy Rooney, 117. Paul Harvey, good day, 108. Barbara Walters, 80. Regis Philbin, 61. I voted for Regis. I mean, he's made so much damn money, and I mean, what is the point? How many heart attacks does he have to have on the air before he finally realizes, enough already? He's got an ego, it's just too big. Hank Goldberg, speaking of big, the Humper's got 51. I got 44. He's drawn away from me. I can't keep up with him. Gordon Liddy, 40. Roger Ebert, 16. He shouldn't be on this list. That's in bad taste, Charlie B. He had a bad stroke or something, and he's like all disfigured and like he's like a vegetable, for Christ's sakes. Should he be on there?
Why not?
Because it's bad.
We don't care.
Hang it up. He's not. Anyway,
he's older than you.
So is everybody else on his list.
Well, then he should be on there if you're on
Keith Jackson's got 16. John McLaughlin, 13. Bye-bye. That's John McLaughlin. Nobody knows who that is except people that watch that one show. What's the show called?
Or listen to that bit, the
McLaughlin Report.
McLaughlin Report.
Bye-bye. I love that bit, and I love that show. And Morley Safer, 5. They got that Tony Blankley, that fat right-wing Brit. How come every Brit that they ever put on these talking head shows is always some right-wing idiot, some sow, some jackass, some fat pig like Tony Blankley? Where do they find these people? 793, though, on the poll. We got 1,000 licked. I'm not even going to have to get all whipped up and exercised about that. Thank God for that, because Jews don't like exercise. I guess you were pretty shocked that they fired this guy at the Hurricane Center, right? Not.
No.
I mean, they did everything except take out billboards. You know, this guy should have been cleaning out his desk days ago. National Hurricane Center Director Bill Prenza was placed on indefinite leave yesterday by superiors who said his brief turbulent reign threatened the Hurricane Center's ability to protect the American people. And one thing we don't want at the Hurricane Center is turbulent rain, brief or otherwise. Am I right about that?
Right.
Turbulent rain is bad. The action came amid an unprecedented, unseemly mutiny that left Prenza without significant support from his employees in South Florida or his bosses in Washington. His tenure at the center lasted only 6 months and was cut so short it didn't include a single hurricane. Well, he's got that. That's a feather in his cap. During his reign, there was not one hurricane. Nice going there, Billy boy. In an email to the center's staff, no administrator Conrad C. Lautenbacher Jr. named Ed Rappaport, the center's highly regarded deputy director since 2000 as acting director. You've seen him. He's been on TV all the time, during the hurricanes. He's a pretty boring guy. He's all right. Lautenbacher said that he heard enough from a team of inspectors he sent to the center last week to conduct a snap inspection. Oh, there's nothing worse than when they snap it and they inspect it. Or maybe you're snapping it and they're inspecting it. In his email, Lautenbacher said he took the action in response to the inspection team's concern that, as expressed by many of you, there currently exists a level of anxiety and disruption that threatens the center's ability to perform its mission to protect the American people. Well, that sounds very reassuring, by the way. Though Perenz's future status remains unclear, Lautenbacher didn't mince any words, because if he minced any words, I would have played, "You fairy." He said Perenz will be on leave until further notice, which means that he will not be undertaking any official duties or performing any function in your chain of command. Perenz didn't return immediately calls. He's out. Clean out your desk and get lost, Billy boy. You're done. A turbulent rain. You ever fly through a turbulent rain? I guess not.
I might have.
You don't do very much flying. The next vote's going to be number 800, by the way. Used to what?
Fly.
And you flew through a turbulent rain?
I must have.
Through bad storms and the plane is shaking and quaking.
That's right.
One time, the flight would land, and I have no idea. I guess it was for a connecting flight. Some of the absolute worst. It's just horrible. And you think the plane is shaking. And, oh, don't worry, no problem at all. Like I told you, the pilot on KLM, that real crazy Dutch guy on the way back here from Amsterdam, his last trip, he says, I just want you all to know that I have a wife and children, too, so I'm, just as concerned about landing safely as you are. Ho, 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 alstublieft. Nothing funnier than an old Dutchman.
When it comes to
entertainment, suck it in and hold it.
Hello, this is Vice President Dick Cheney, ordering you to forget about the iPhone. That was built by latte-drinking liberals. Instead, do like I do. Use the F-phone. The F-phone was developed by conservatives, and it does everything I need it to. I can get news headlines, stock reports, and I can receive instant messages from my bosses at Halliburton. And best of all, the F-phone regulates my pacemaker. Here, let me show you how it works. What's wrong with this thing? Well, me. Will somebody show me how the to work this thing? Hey, why do they call it the F-phone anyway?
Hey, man, well, F you, too. It's 10:46, 14 before 11 at 560 WQM. Happy Tuesday to you, baby. It's right here in the middle of Julio. Whatever that means. I don't know. It's like dog days, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Sure is. Opposition to the Iraq War has reached a record high. This is a brand new USA Today Gallup poll just off the press only seconds ago, at least my press. A development likely to complicate President Bush's efforts to hold together Republican support as the Senate begins debate this week on Pentagon priorities. We got a new deal in Iraq. Some new dead people. And Bush's approval rating in this poll has reached a new low 29%. Not to be confused with the 27%, one of the other polls.
Mm-hmm.
In the survey taken over this past weekend, Friday through Sunday, 1 in 5 Americans say the increase in U.S. forces in Iraq since January has made the situation there better. Half say it hasn't made any difference, and the rest of them saying, Iraq, what's that? What's that got to do with Paris Hilton's ass? More than 7 in 10 favor removing nearly all U.S. troops from Iraq by April. Why nearly all, okay? What do we got to leave? A few poor schleppers behind? Oh, bad news, you're the 100 that we're leaving behind. 55% say Congress should wait to develop a new policy on Iraq until General David Petraeus, commander of the U.S. forces in Iraq, delivers a promised assessment in September. 40% say Congress should act now. The American public, dumber than sawdust, man, dumber than dirt. A little slow to catch on, a little slow on the uptake. Bush's support is eroding among Republicans. 68% approve of him, down from an average of 92% in his first term, 82% in his second term. Nearly 4 out of 10 Republicans say the immigration debate, which ended in defeat for Bush's overhaul proposal, caused them to lose confidence in the Bushmeister, in this butcher, in this lunatic, in this demented maniac with all this blood on his hands. 62% say the U.S. made a mistake in sending troops to Iraq. The first time ever that number has topped 60%. Because there's about 30% of the American public whose IQ is smaller than their digit. 2/3 say Bush shouldn't have intervened in the case of Scooter Libby. 6 out of 10 say the economy is worse than it was 5 years ago. And 62 to 36%, those surveyed say an impeachment inquiry against Bush, promoted by some liberal websites, wouldn't be justified. 62 to 36 say would not be justified. Nancy Pelosi says Congress has no intention of holding such proceedings. Republicans oppose the idea. 91 to 9%. Democrats support it 54 to 44%. Got those numbers? You can write them all down?
No.
Well, too bad. We had some pretty good numbers last Thursday. Clarence is back from vacation and stuck his ass in the door this morning. Oh, nice numbers in the trend. And I told him, I said, sure, it's all because of you, Clarence. You idiot. You quisling.
You fairy.
You jackass. You sports nerd. You jock-sniffing fool, you. You jock-licking maniac. He said, yeah, that's me. And then he, wandered out of there. Do you have anything to say to you, like you ought to talk a lot about more sports when you're on?
No, nothing like that.
Well, good. If he ever gives you any more advice on what to do when you're on the air, I would just kick him in the crotch.
Okay.
I would. Yeah, just with the heel of your shoe.
Well, I'll pretend like I'm kicking a football.
That's right. That's a good idea. Pretend you're kicking the extra point. Pretend it's a 63-yard field goal like Tom Dempsey. In fact, what I would do is I would put one of those, what did he have on that shoe, Chris, remember?
No, because I wasn't alive then.
Well, no, but he had some kind of a thing. It was like a half shoe with
it was a flat front.
Yeah, it was a flat-fronted shoe. Oh, there's Harry Pothead on there. Any interest? And the professor tells me that everybody of all ages is into Harry Potter. Am I right about that? Is he right about it, or am I?
No.
I thought it's for kids.
Yes.
Well, the professor, I think, is just a child at heart. He insisted to me that everybody... Huh?
And chicks.
Chicks? Oh, no. That's not good for his image, I'll tell you that. 819 votes on the poll. Who should hang it up? Now that Bob Barker... Harry Potter is not for adults. Well, I could be wrong about that. What do I know? Well, would you see it? Would you take your kids to go see it?
I took my daughter to see the first one. I don't want to see any of the other ones ever again.
Oh, no.
I said, you're on your own with these, honey.
With this crap, huh?
Yeah,
well, that doesn't sound too promising to me.
Horrible. Horrendous.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The stupidest bunch of crap nonsense, no plot, everything predictable and contrived. Harry at no point ever does it. No.
Now, let me tell you about a good flick before I get back to the pool. Seriously, I saw it on the cable the other day, and now I'm reading the reviews of it, and they're ripping the hell out of it, which pisses me off, because I thought it was pretty good. 10th and Wolf. Now, on IMDb, it's got 6.4. Well, that's not a bad number. Am I right?
Huh?
It's a mafia movie, and it's based on a true story about a mob war in Philadelphia. And it stars James Marsden, and believe you me, if for no other reason, I loved him and the movie.
What's the name of it again?
10th and Wolf.
All right, I'll avoid it.
Oh, here's a message from your friend the professor. George is totally out of touch. Mm-hmm. Ha, ha, ha.
Right.
I agree.
Hoo-ah.
Laugh all you want.
Yeah.
I've read all 6 books, and I've seen the movies, so you know.
What is it?
I've read all 6 of the books. They weren't that bad, and I saw the movie, so.
You saw the movie? What do you mean, the movie?
I guess 3 of them now.
All of them?
Like that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to see the new one?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, well, see, it's more...
Especially for a summer thing, you know?
George, you're out of touch, man. You're old like me.
He's an old coot.
Uh-huh. Sorry.
James Marsden, by the way, was so hot that he probably once upon a time could have worked at Abercrombie and Bitch. Which we were in there again yesterday, and I'm going to tell you something. That store, they ought to charge you admission just to walk in the door there. You know, I hate to use that term that you use all the time because to me it's just nauseating. Eye candy. When you're diabetic, especially lately, I've been on my good behavior.
Stop lying for once. You've heard me say that once.
Yeah, you like to use that, though.
You heard me say it once.
As soon as I said I hated that, you stopped using it. But you're out of touch anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, touch this. But anyway, I'll tell you that there ought to be a sign saying, touch this in Abercrombie. I would live there. Oh, my God. Where do those people come from?
Are you trying to say they needed one of those new bathrooms there?
Are you going to stop?
You're the one that brought it up.
That's good. Boy.
You
Chris
and Jim Naugle and Kim
lately.
Bocamper. I wouldn't be surprised if Kim Bocamper elopes with Chris before the year is out.
Yeah, no, thank you.
828 votes on the poll. Harry Potter is great, man. That's what I'm being told. I think it's for kids and people who have, emotional problems. Now that...
So I guess you read it a lot, huh?
I mean, when I was a little kid, I read Nancy Drew mysteries, so what does that tell you? In other
Instead
words...
of Hardy Boys?
When you were a little kid.
Instead of the Hartley Boys, I read Nancy Drew, because that was a little maricon, so... At least I've been consistent throughout my life, okay? I don't pretend to be one thing one day and something else the other day. I'm just an old fag, okay? And that's just the way it goes. You don't like it? Too bad. As Dick Cheney would say, too effing bad. Anyway, here's the poll. Who should retire next? Larry King, 248. He is kicking big, serious, smelly ass on here. Here's another message here. Let's see. What is it? It says the guy James Marsden is going to be in the Hairspray movie. What Hairspray movie?
There's a new one with John Travolta in drag.
Oh, no.
The first one wasn't bad enough, so they had to do it again.
John Travolta in drag? Well, I'm sure he probably uses his wardrobe from the house.
Uh-huh.
Larry King, 248. Andy Rooney, 130. Paul Harvey, 115. Barbara Walters, 82. Regis has got 63. Hang it up, Regis. You're 100 years old. He's 75. He could pass for 90 easy. He's had 68 bypasses, 400 heart attacks. The Humper's got 54. He's edging away from me. I got 45. Hank is 67. Is that correct, or is that like, where did Charlie B get these ages from, I wonder? I guess he probably looked it up on whatchamacallit?
IMDb?
No, not IMDb. The other
Wikipedia?
thing. Wikipedia. Well, why would Hank be an IMDb? What movies has he made? I got 45 votes. 5.3% say time for me to hang it up. I'll tell you what, I'm going to hang it up when I'm ready, okay, when Greg Budell is ready to come in and take over this seat.
I'll never understand that. What is it with the Greg Budell people? All 5 of them.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. He's a state of mind. He is to broadcasting what the Rascal House is to food.
Actually, Hank Goldberg is listed on IMDb.
Is he?
Yep.
For what? Being on
Complete
ESPN?
Guide to Guys, a.k.a. Dave Barry's Complete Guide to Guys on USA.
Does it say that Hank is 67?
It says he was born July 4th, 1940.
40. July
So
4th. So he just said that he was born on the 4th of July?
That would be correct.
So that makes him 67 as of last week, as of 6 days ago.
Correct.
So Charlie B got it right. Quit picking on Charlie B. He knows his crap. Gordon Liddy, 41. Roger Ebert, 70. I feel so bad. I hate him in the first place, number one. But even hating him, I still, you got to have a little Rachmanis, baby. The guy looks like a vegetable. He looks like he ought to be in a Heinz bottle or can. Can it, Roger. He's got 17 votes. Heartless bastards. Keith Jackson's got 17. John McLaughlin, bye-bye. He's got 14. And Morley Safer's only got 5. Is he still on 60 Minutes? Because I don't watch it anymore. And neither do you, obviously. You don't know. Morley Safer. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah. I watched it last week, but I didn't notice Morley there.
No Morley?
I don't know.
No.
Not no
He's
Morley.
Jewish. You know what Safer means in Hebrew?
No.
Book.
Huh.
Aha. So you can take your pendejo and pendajo and stick them where the moon don't shine. I really am embarrassed that I said that. But you've got me so flustered now that you're speaking Spanish with my Mexican roommate here.
Well, yeah, and you could use some practice.
With my young Mexican boyfriend. It's 841 votes on the poll. We got 1,000 licked easy.
When it comes to entertainment, it's Neil Rogers.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
So what's going on in the world of sports today?
Nothing.
Oh, come on, there's got to be something sports-related we can disinterest our audience in today.
No, man, I mean, there's nothing. Just some days, nothing's going on with sports, man.
Well, turn on ESPN. Maybe they got chicken chasing or
I'm
something.
telling you, man, there's nothing going on.
That's unacceptable. I mean, didn't any millionaire athletes murder somebody or something?
Not today.
Well, you think maybe we should try something that would be entertaining?
No way, dude. That's work. Right, Gelby? The situation here is only sports. It gets us hard in the shorts.
We're narrowcasting only this, no music, chicks, or politics. Keep it easy and safe. We broadcast nothing. Just gush about sport holes every day. We bow our heads in deep respect to jocks who make their family dead. And we're closet gays.
If you are Joe, you're along is set. You might as well go back to bed.
We talk about men like homos and jockstrap makes us lose control.
We've all lost our mind.
We broadcast nothing, just sports on the time.
So speaking of Squeaky asked Geldy, when are we blowing him out? Do you see him anywhere on the schedule this week?
No.
Well, I'm thinking that maybe. Oh, I see him Saturday from 2 to 5, Saturday afternoon. Just when you think the coast is clear, he'll be gone because the Panthers, we're dumping that crap. And we're also going to be dumping the Marlins. If we have a Marlin, that's right, we don't have any Marlin games because it's All-Star Week. Christ. You mean to say that Thursday I got to do another whole 4 hours on Thursday?
Yeah.
What kind of a communist bunch of crap is that?
It's great.
We love the Marlins. Let's play 2 now. Okay, starting like at about 11:05. Sounds good to me. Now, how are your calls been this summer so far?
Yeah, you know. They've been fine.
No, I don't.
They've been fine.
If I knew, I wouldn't be asking.
They've been fine. Wish we could have more, but, you know, what do you want?
You'll be dismayed to learn that the guy with the eyes, I think I may have told you this before, a long time ago. The guy with the eyes has got a clone, an identical clone.
Gee.
At Woodbine. And he's got this very bizarre-looking old broad that he hangs out with. And he browbeats her. Oh, you lost 20 more in there while I was gone? You lost another 20 in there? You bitch. I mean, just crazy. Strange stuff. He looks like him. He acts like him. This is the guy that told me, buddy, would you do me a favor? Don't look at my board. Don't look at my machine. Remember
that guy. Yeah.
He's an idiot.
Call him a pendejo.
And he's a pendajo and pendejo. And for some reason lately, he's been around a lot with this strange old broad who I think is, I don't know what, I think she's like a captive or something. I don't know.
Call him Mariposa.
What?
Mariposa.
What the hell are you talking about?
Spanish.
Mariposa, what is that?
Butterfly.
Well, so what's that got to do with anything?
It's a derogatory term if you call a guy that, basically.
How about pajarito?
That too. Or pato.
Uh-oh. Will you speak in English? Now, what was I just talking
about? We're going to
get
those ratings up
about
by
the
doing
guy
a
with the
bilingual
eyes.
test. Yeah.
And he winds up sitting next to me the other day, thankfully only for a couple of minutes, because like what is it, mariposa? He keeps hopping from one machine to the other. And he's sitting next to me, and he's give me a spin now. And he's pointing at the third reel, you know, where the spin thing would come up, assuming he was going to get one, which he didn't. And he, give me one now, and he's pointing at it again, blank. You know, I'm sitting there restraining myself from laughing my ass out loud. You know, give me one now, and not blank.
I think you should just laugh at him and see what he does.
No, I don't want to get started with him. I don't want nothing to do with him. Hey, buddy, do me a favor. Don't look at my. I'll look at whatever the hell I want to, okay? And then I guarantee you won't be one of the things I'll be looking at. He looks like the guy with the eyes. And he acts like him. He's a retard. Now, what is this thing that you just faxed to me?
It's about the Pope saying everybody's wrong except for him.
From Lorenzo di Cattore, Italy, wherever the hell that is. Where's that?
And I keep forgetting to talk about the Latin Mass that he wants to bring back, too.
The Nazi Pope has reasserted the universal primacy, or is that primacy, as the Brits would say, primacy of the Roman Catholic Church, approving a document released today that says the Orthodox churches were defective and that other Christian denominations were not true churches. How do you like that? Well, there's only one way to find if they're defective, and that's to hire a detective. Benedict approved a document from his old offices at the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith that restates church teaching on relations with other Christians. It's the second time in a week that the Pope has corrected what he says are erroneous interpretations of the Second Vatican Council. On Saturday, Benedict revisited another key aspect of Vatican II by reviving the old Latin Mass. Dominus, Nabiscus, Pendajo, whatever. Traditional Catholics cheered the move, but the more liberal ones called it a step back from Vatican II. Well, what would you expect from the Nazi Pope? Like progress? Like a step like into the 18th century or something?
See, it's important for the people not to understand what's actually being said. That way they can't ask
Dominus,
questions.
Nabisco, and Saltines. Benedict, who attended Vatican II as a young theologian, is long... Let me tell you this right now. I'm not going to waste my time reading this crap. You people with a religion crap, man, get a life, okay? Get a life. Get a brain. Start using it. Start using the function of the brain that has to do with, like, thinking, as opposed to the part that's got to do with being brainwashed and stupid and idiotic. All this garbage. All this tax-free garbage, that's the worst kind. 857 votes on the poll, and Larry is just, he's off by himself. Probably the bad breath, and also that bag, probably smells pretty bad at this point. Yeah, I think sending the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, sending Jim Naugle some well-used or slightly used toilet paper would be good. Now, remember we used to have that discussion about old Cuban grandmas, the abuelas?
Right, all the old world people apparently, and they do that in Europe too.
And they would... You take the toilet paper and put it in a box, the used toilet paper, and throw it into a box as opposed to flushing it down the toilet.
Because the
what
pipes
are they doing?
are narrow.
Saving it for a rainy day
or what? The pipes are
narrow
in Europe, and they're still operating under that old system. Then it's supposed to clog the
pipes. Is that why they have those
pipes
in Italy where there's the hole in the floor?
Well, but the paper's supposed to not. You're not supposed to flush paper in a lot of places.
I wonder what kind of a hole that is.
You're looking for glory holes.
Oh,
that's in a lot of travel guides.
Don't let the Pope find it.
Been saying.
What?
That they in the travel guides, depending on where you go, they say that you're not supposed to flush the paper because it clogs the pipes because they're narrow, so you're supposed to throw it in the garbage.
Oh, you're clogged?
Yeah.
You throw it in the garbage?
In the garbage. Instead of
after you used it?
That's what they're saying.
Oh, Jesus, God Almighty.
That's right. Thank God for wide pipes.
Yeah, exactly.
Rectum.
Online activists raised enough money in 2 hours yesterday afternoon to fly a banner encouraging the impeachment of President Bush and Vice President Cheney over AT&T Park in San Francisco before tonight's All-Star baseball game, to which we say, all right. Excellent. You go, boys, girls, whatever you are. The effort for an airborne banner began in the nationwide movement to impeach Cheney and Bush group on Facebook.com. It has been promoted by pro-impeachment website afterdowningstreet.org. Time is short to raise the necessary money before baseball's All-Star game tonight in San Francisco. Boy, the professor's just out of control since you started dissing Harry Potter. It says you should get some info and talk about my anti-gay uncle who's running for mayor of Miami Beach. Well, why don't you send me some info, Professor, and I should get. Where am I going to get it, huh? I'm going to open a window and the information's going to fly in from, like, out in the etheric somewhere? I should get some info about some homophobic dookie box that's running for mayor of Miami Beach.
There you go.
No, there was.
I just conjured it up, pulled it out of my butt.
Now, was that the magic wand from Harry Potter?
The one and only.
Somehow I just can't. I don't know what it is. I just can't envision seeing that. Even though the kid that plays Harry Potter now, he's starting to look like almost human.
Now that he's grown up. Yeah, well, he's in a movie called Equus, or in a play or something like that, where he's supposed to be naked.
By the way, James Marsden is. I'd rather see James Marsden, and you know he's 34 years old, James Marsden. And I still would do
for you.
That's all. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like less embarrassed. I'd like to see this Facebook group be empowered by actually making something happen in the world. Jacob Park, the Facebook group's founder, told Raw's story. He says it's pretty raw. As about 5:15 yesterday afternoon, organizers raised the $695 needed to hire the plane from 47 donations. Donations are being accepted at this website, and it's got a link which you got to click on this story, which you can't click it like out in the air somewhere. The announcement was posted to the Facebook group at 3 p.m. Brian H., another group member, first proposed the banner idea in the post on the site Sunday evening. One of the group's members, Timothy Fong, said he contacted a Napa-based company that would tow a banner over the game tonight. The banner would fly over AT&T Park in San Francisco while people arrive for the All-Star game, but because of airspace restrictions put in place after 9/11, it would have to land an hour before the first pitch, Fong told Raw's story. The game will be televised on Fox beginning 8 tonight. It'll be heard on QAM, by the way, for those with no TV set. Shut up already with that damn BlackBerry. It would be ideal in terms of citizens expressing dissatisfaction with their government to have something out there during the national anthem or during the first pitch, Fong said. Activists are committed to following the law. Now, do you think the networks are going to show us this?
No.
You think that Fox, especially Fox, you think Fox is going to show us that banner? How much you want to bet on that, sweetheart? Park City donated $50 to get the banner airborne, and other commentators on the Facebook group, which has 978 members, said they were donating as little as $5 to $10. Whatever it took, and they got it, and it's going to fly tonight. The eagle will fly, and John Ashcroft will be there singing as the eagle fly, or whatever he sings. Is that what he's saying?
Yep.
As the pajarito fly, something like that? 863 votes on that poll. Now, I think the real contest there is between me and the humper, isn't it? Hank is 67 years old. God dang, is he old, huh? He's got 59 votes, and I've only got 46. I'm just a young whippersnapper.
You're listening to Neil Rogers.
Hurricane f***ing blow.
Oh, God.
This weekend.
It's called Live Earth, and it will involve concerts on 7 continents to promote awareness of global warming. Former Vice President Al Gore expected to perform over a 24-hour period.
Al Gore, live in concert.
Yeah.
I never will.
She was walking down the street singing.
Did me. To believe. I can't get no. I am not satisfied. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Al Gore, Live Earth.
I am excited. Oh. I can't control myself. I am excited.
Yeah.
Al Gore sings the hits. Al Gore rocks.
See me for who I really am. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so what do you make of Al? What do you think?
He's okay. About what?
About Al Gore. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it.
Do what?
Draft him.
Save the world?
Yeah.
Oh, here's a link from the professor about his mom's uncle and about he's running for mayor of Miami Beach or something like that. But it's on my Hotmail here, and it's going to take me forever today. I'll get to it. To take a puke at it. I mean, it's important stuff, isn't it? In fact, maybe they can put him, if he's homophobic enough, they can put him on a morning show. Camper can sit there and they can rub their knees together. What do you think? Think it's got a possibility?
No.
I think it does. Doug Thompson says a Congress of co-conspirators. The stage is set for a showdown between President George Herbert... why do I say that? He was no prize either, by the way. Between President Bush and Congress, in the end, we might see who's got the biggest balls, or perhaps if anyone has any at all, Doug Thompson says. Who's got the biggest balls, baby? I bet you James Marsden's in the running for that. At issue is whether or not two former White House aides will be allowed to testify before Congress in the probe of the politically motivated firings of U.S. attorneys. Bush, as expected, claimed executive privilege, but said the aides could meet behind closed doors in off-the-record sessions on the Hill. While it's no surprise that Bush claimed executive privilege, it is extraordinary that he's claiming it not on current White House aides, but former staff members who theoretically, at least, are free to make up their own minds about testifying because they no longer work in the administration. Under most circumstances, former White House counsel Harriet Miers and former political director Sarah Taylor should be able to decide for themselves if they want to appear before Congress, take the Fifth, or fight the subpoenas. By claiming executive privilege for both Myers and Taylor, Bush is saying that his power to control people is absolute, that it covers not only those currently working for him, but also anyone who ever worked for him. Jonathan Turley, professor of constitutional law at George Washington University and a professional talking head on TV, said Bush's claim of executive privilege is absurd and that by offering to let his former aides speak in private, he dilutes his case. It would have been far better for the White House to say that aides wouldn't speak in any context to disclose this information, Turley told The Hill, a newspaper in an interview. Instead, the White House adopted this absurd position that it's willing so long as there's not a threat of perjury. Another constitutional law expert, University of Richmond professor Carl Tobias, says Bush's claim of executive privilege would not hold up in court. But legality is not a guiding principle for Bush, neither is the law. The president's proven time and time again that he'll do whatever he damn well pleases and dare those who object to try and stop him. So far, nobody, not Congress, not the courts, and not the law, have successfully blocked Bush from his vision of imperial rule from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And those who expect Congress to step and put a stop to Bush's despotic rule will likely find the Democratic leadership on the Hill isn't up to the job. They ain't up to it. To date, the new leaders in Congress have fallen on their collective asses when it comes to standing up to Bush or stopping him from riding roughshod over them, the law and the Constitution. Bush is an absolute ruler who enjoys absolute power with the knowledge that the Democrats can do absolutely nothing to stop him. In other words,
absolutely.
That's right. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi emasculated the Democrats when she took impeachment off the table. If Bill Clinton deserved to be impeached for lying about BJ's from a White House intern, then George W. Bush deserves not only impeachment, but conviction and then a criminal trial followed by a life sentence pounding rock in Leavenworth. But it won't happen because Pelosi lacks the balls, both figuratively and literally, to take the necessary political risk to haul Bush before a tribunal on charges. If Harry Reid had any balls, they're probably too old and shriveled to pump any testosterone into his timid veins. Oh, my God. Old and shriveled balls. Both Pelosi and Reid talk like leaders, but they fail to deliver. Both are little more than political hacks. And by continuing to allow George W. Bush to remain in the presidency, they're both complicit and willing co-conspirators in a plot to destroy the U.S., eh? Nice going, Dougie, Doug Thompson, talking about balls in America. It's almost enough to make you want to play that chocolate salty balls. Oh, but I said almost. Could we play that or what?
Yeah, do it. Play it twice.
Like I got it? I don't got it, and you're not playing it.
No.
Okay, what are we doing on this pool thing over here, okay? I wonder how the Humper's doing. The Humper is 67? God almighty, is he old or what? Although I think he's... Oh, no, Roger Ebert, who doesn't belong on there. I'm telling you, he doesn't belong on there. He's a dead man in a suit. Now that Bob Barker and Rick Shaw have hung it up, what other old coot, old crow ought to hang it up? How about the crow? Larry King, 265. We got 888 votes, by the way, Chris. You got your 1,000 made easy today.
Yep, I'm very glad.
You see, when I sit my fat ass down in this chair, we got a head start. We got it made in the shade with lemonade. Larry King, 265. He's just crushing the field. Andy Rooney, 135. Paul Harvey, 128. Barbara Wawa's got 85. Regis Philbin, 66. The Humper's got 60. I got 49. Boy, he's pulling away from me like I'm just laid out flat. G. Gordon Liddy, 44. Roger Ebert, 19. And again, I say that's disgraceful. Keith Jackson's got 18. John McLaughlin's got 15. And Morley Safer, solamente 6. He's got 6. Morley Safer. Book. What kind of a name is that?
Why not?
888. I like that number, though. 888. It's great. Nick Pancioni writes in a smirking chimp, do I have time for this before the break? Yes, I do. Ann Coulter, typical American Christian. Oh, amen to that. In 2006, Ann Coulter said, Christianity fuels everything I write. Being a Christian means that I'm called upon to do battle against lies, injustice, cruelty, hypocrisy. You know, all the virtues in the Church of Liberalism. In true American Christian style, she's also called John Edwards a faggot, which resulted in a fundraising bonanza for the presidential hopeful. Calder wrote that Mr. and Mrs. Edwards have a bumper sticker on their car that reads, Ask me about my dead son. In reference to the death of their 16-year-old child Wade, who was killed in a car crash in '96, Calder criticized the 4 9/11 widows who had the audacity to support Democrats by writing that I've never seen people enjoying their husband's death so much. Regarding the liberal media, Calder said, My only regret with Tim McVeigh is he didn't go to the New York Times building. All of this repulsive rhetoric resulted in increased book sales for Calder, and more importantly, she got a huge dose of attention from each outrageous barb, something that her emaciated little being craves above spiritual or edible nourishment. A doctor should analyze this attention-starved skeletal scalawag and the psychology behind her infantile opinions and rabble-rousing statements. The diagnosis seems quite simple. She opposes abortion rights and views all liberals who favor abortion rights as the vilest people alive because they condone the murder of innocent unborn babies. This get-the-bad-guys mentality creates a free-for-all, anything-goes brand of lunacy in the oxygen-deprived brains of the likes of Calder. Of course, she picks on liberals about other issues, but it's definitely abortion that makes her stringy, bleached blonde hair stand on end. Who could forget anti-abortion nutwing and rabid Christian Randall Terry, who was operating from the same warped perspective when he called for the bombing of Planned Parenthood clinics and the murder of doctors who perform any kind of abortion procedure? If you appreciate the warped logic behind their belief system, you'd understand that Randall Terry and Ann Coulter have no choice but to act out against anyone they deem to be baby killers. Granted, Coulter has only stated her wish that John Edwards be killed by terrorists, while Terry is capable of ordering such an act from his Christian followers. At its core, they share the same brand of religious conviction that leads religious fanatics to fly jets into the World Trade Center. Amen to that. Volumes can be written about people like Coulter who call themselves Christians and act like repellent, overbearing tyrants because they're so convinced they have the lock on the truth. They're never humble, seldom compassionate, and rarely Christ-like in anything they say or do. In 2006, Coulter herself said it best, Christ died for my sins and nothing else matters. And that sentiment rears its ugly head in every move she makes, though Christ himself would beg to differ. A lot of other things matter. Coulter claims that the Bible is her favorite book, narrowly edging out the biography of the Hillside Strangler. If this is true, one wonders if she can read Jesus' words with even an elementary level of comprehension. Just what did Jesus mean when he supposedly said, Blessed are the peacemakers, love your enemies, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, which you do unto me. A more recent statement by Coulter further reveals her limited intellect. She said, I'm more of a man than any liberal. It's good that she acknowledges her manliness considering her prominent Adam's apple and her prepubescent boyish figure. Unfortunately, Coulter thinks she's a femme fatale, and she intends to insult liberal men by imputing their masculinity. Coulter doesn't understand that liberals are more evolved than her, and they don't worry about schoolyard taunts that have no relevance in 2007. The fear that a skinny, cynical bully like Coulter might label someone a sissy would only have resonance in conservative circles, where grown men still worry about who's got the most playing cards in their bike's spokes. The lack of manliness that Coulter perceives in liberal men is nothing more than fodder for her infantile conservative fans. Keep in mind that these are the same people who worry about naked statues in the halls of the Justice Department. They obsess about their neighbors' sex lives and giggle about anything to do with human potty parts. It says potty parts. I wonder if it means body parts or potty parts. Well, whatever. Sadly, many of these folks are so repressed that eventually they get caught making kiddie porn videos with their favorite minister or some other heinous act born from years of denying human nature. The fact is that Coulter isn't nearly as intelligent as she or her privileged silver spoon-fed education would have you believe. Take away her family's influence and money, and she'd probably be typing memos about some sales clerk's retirement party from a run-of-the-mill American company on the outskirts of New Canaan, Connecticut. Even bitterer and nastier than she is today, because nobody would pay her any attention.
You're listening to Neil Rogers.
Spread 'em and say cheese.
Jesus can do anything he wants. Laws don't mean a thing. He said to be free. Laws may be might sing. I'm being impeded by a Chinese staffer who can spill the beans and Libby might sing. So he set him free. Women of power abuses designed to take us down. Our Constitution is useless. Too late now. Too late now. Jeopardizing our security, exposing our spy ring, but they set him free. Cause maybe might see.
Hopefully he'll sing better than Al Gore. It's 11:32, and guess what? You know, this homophobic guy that wants to be mayor of Miami Beach?
Yeah.
Smatty. Bill Smatt.
I'll just send you an article. I guess you already got it.
If you could see the picture of him, did you see the picture?
No, but somebody...
He looks like a cross between Father Time and Yule Gibbons.
Somebody faxed us an article, and it's coming across your machine right now. Probably the same thing.
South Beach may be one of the... Is that what it starts out by saying?
Sounds familiar.
South Beach may be one of the most gay-welcoming areas of the country, but that would all change, says Bill Smatt, if voters elect him mayor. God forbid. That's...
Oh, God!
Smatt hasn't registered to run, but already has begun his campaign with a huge banner over his front lawn declaring, God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Yeah, it's about that.
I see.
Yes.
The banner has raised the hackles of LGBT rights groups and Smatt's neighbors, several of whom complained to City Hall. We don't want no maricones on Miami Beach. I'll tell you that right now. That's what Smatty's saying. And let's see what this thing is you faxed.
Same kind of deal.
Is it the same thing?
Different story, but about the same thing.
I see. The banner is raised the hackles, like I said. Smatt originally placed the banner on public land outside his property line. He moved it in front of his house when the city told him it was illegal. He is still in contravention of city regulations because of the size of the banner, which stretches across the entire width of his property, but says he'll fight City Hall over what he sees as his First Amendment right, to be a bigot. Miami Beach has become communist Russia. Anything you do, anything they want, they tear down my sign, he says. Yeah, he's a lovely man. Oh, man. Talk about from the Stone Age. You got to see the picture. He told TV station WSVN Channel 7, what about the First Amendment? We have a right to speak. The 76-year-old Smatt said if he becomes mayor, he will clean up South Beach's gay club scene. When in doubt, take him out. I promise you, when I become mayor, we're going to clean up all this funny business going on down there, he told Channel 10. I'm bringing back Miami Beach for families, he said. It goes on to say, for those who may be unfamiliar with Smatt, he's the white Jamaican dude with the long white hair and a fluffy white beard. He looks like a Bible-bashing Santa Claus. It says, hey, he looks like a cross between Santa, Father Time, and Yule Gibbons. According to Carol Huffman Guzman of the Alton Road Homeowners Association, her organization hasn't taken any official position on the banner. Gay rights groups professed outrage, saying the giant sign was outlandishly homophobic. It's surprising in this day and age, and the city as progressive as Miami Beach, we could still have this type of homophobia, scoffed Kirk Arthur, spokesperson for Save Dade. Oh, too late for that. This illustrates that no matter how far the city and its residents have evolved, writes Frank Krasuski, a Miami Beach City Commission candidate, in a chastising email, that hate and prejudice are unfortunately alive and still a political tool for some. Smatt has said he's simply exercising his right to free speech. According to City of Miami Beach Police Information Officer Nanette Rodriguez, kin?
No.
Oh. Code compliance officers issued Smatt 6 violations beginning this past Thursday because of the sign. It's got nothing to do with what's written on it. Smatt, Rodriguez adds, appeal to citations. A hearing's been tentatively set for July 12th. In the meantime, Adam and Eve stay put, writes Joanne Green in whatever this is from. Do we know what this is from? No.
No.
Well, there you go. Okay, so that's one of the professor's relatives, several times removed, hopefully removed from the earth soon. Good God. Hey, Smatty, get a life, baby. Oh, Smatty, I see. Oh, no. Holy moly, Rat Man. A little light bulb just went off over the top of my head. 912 votes on the poll. Who should retire next now that Bob Barker and Ricky Ticky Shaw? I wonder how Rick Shaw's doing. You think, let's take a call from Rick Shaw, not? Now, how are we doing without these phone calls? I don't even have the thing turned on, you know what?
That's a good
We're
thing.
doing fine. I haven't noticed.
Oh. What was Chris about to say?
That's
because he doesn't want to screen calls?
That's
exactly.
right.
You are so lazy, man.
He's making so many friends, though.
One thing about us fat people, man, we are lazy. And
It's
then
not
we're
lazy, trust me.
What is it? Smart?
It's how to deal with the certain freaks.
They love him now.
Oh, really? You got a bunch of fans now?
Oh, yeah.
Well, good. Larry King, 273. Hang it up, Larry, okay, before that bag bursts on the air. Talk about bombs bursting in air. Andy Rooney, 140. I should give the ages again, shouldn't I?
Okay.
Well, it'll kill some good time. Larry, 73. Andy Rooney is 88. My God. 88 years of eyebrow growth, can you imagine? Paul Harvey is also 88, 129. Good day? Do you think there's anybody under the age of 100 who even knows who he is anymore?
Well, I do.
I do.
How do you know who he is? Well,
I
George
used to have to run the programs. Right.
You used to what?
Run the programs in my radio days earlier.
You were in radio once upon a time?
Once upon a time, then I came to work.
Yeah, I remember too. Me too. Long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Walters, she's 77. She's got 87 votes. Regis is 75. He's got 68 votes. See, when I give the numbers and the ages together, like it's very confusing, which is good. The Humper, who's 67 as of 6 days ago, has got 63 votes. I'm 64, got 49 votes. So we figured the Humper is like, we were through that before. I thought he was only 1 year older than me. And then, of course, we went through the thing with Mo's age. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And we had to get his driver's license finally.
He
and
showed it to
oh,
me.
Boy.
We didn't have to get it. He thrust it in my face and the license, too.
Did he really? What a thought that is. Did he go like that as he was doing it?
No. He never said doi doi doi.
Ain't never said doi?
I
have 49 votes, so the Humper's got me by 14 votes. And by 3 years, or 2.5 years anyway. You're old, Hank. He doesn't care. As long as he can keep eating. How does he do it? How does he stay alive?
I don't know. Good genes?
I got good genes, man, but if I go
Farrah,
back to my old
Levi's,
eating ways again, I'll be dead
Sasson,
soon, man. I'll be in bad
Jordache.
shape. They'll be chopping off limbs and poking out eyes and all of these things. Gordon Liddy, 44. That Bill Smatt, man, what a really handsome guy. Makes me feel good about myself. Roger Ebert's got 19, and I apologize for that. He's 65, Gordon Liddy 75. Keith Jackson, who's 78, he's got 18 votes. John McLaughlin, bye-bye, he's got 80 votes, 15. You know, he was once a Catholic priest. Are you aware of that?
No, I did not.
Catholic priest. And he was once a rabid right-winger. I guess he probably still is a rabid right-winger, but you wouldn't know it. Now he's just a comedian. Bye-bye. John McLaughlin's got 6, and Morley Safer still only got 6, and that's because we got a very anti-Semitic audience out there. As soon as I said he was Jewish, and Safer means book. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah yada 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 ishkadal v'ishkadash shmei rabo baba maishi and ishkabibble too. All the religious hocus pocus, man. How much of it? Why would anybody in its right mind waste any time with this nonsense, huh? With fairy tales. It's one thing to waste time with fairies. It's another thing to waste time with fairy tales. Just ask Bill Smatt and the Kimber Bocamper.
The biggest name.
They know their fairies.
The best talent. And your official
Adam and
home
Steve.
for Miami Dolphins.
Harry King, and they don't come any better than Neil Rogers.
Now, Inside Edition.
Isaiah Washington has given us some great hours of entertainment on Grey's Anatomy. This time it was personal drama.
Any members of the cast called you?
Yes, I got a... Whoa. Plague, and I attacked him, called him a homophobic slur, and then I tried to choke him to death.
Whoa. Nothing against being gay.
No.
My wife opens for Don Rickles. You like him?
No comment.
Inside Edition. We'll be right back.
11:45 at 560 WQAM. It's a Tuesday. We got the Mad Dog at 2. And then we got the Humper with that Power Hour. How's that 4 to 5 hour doing, by the way? Do we know?
Don't we? We won't get the hourlies until this next...
Until the book comes out.
Right?
And it's coming out El Primero de Agosto, baby, on a Wednesday when you're going to be on. Remember I mentioned the other day that I might make a cameo that day because the ratings were coming out?
Yeah,
Forget
that'd
it.
be good. Oh, okay.
What? Well, I just don't want you to get your hopes up. I mean, you think I'm really going to do that?
Why not?
I may be crazy, but am I that
fun.
crazy? I'm
It's
going
in
to
the middle
show
of
up
the
on a
week.
day when
It's
I got
not
the
like
day
you're
off.
going somewhere
I'd
for
have
the
to be
4-day weekend. It's not Wednesday.
like that. I'd have
It's
to be
hump
like
day.
Ishka Bibble. Oh, man. 924 votes on the poll. How's the Hopper doing with the me? He's got 64, I got 49. They're voting for other people now. Yeah, leave us alone. Get off our case. Michael Moore slammed CNN and Wolf Blitzer on live TV. You go, Mike. I told you I watched this Sicko last week. Didn't I tell you that?
Yes.
Now, have you seen it? Yeah, you did, because you said last week you didn't. You'd be lying.
Right.
Oh, now, what would you recommend, Sicko or Harry Potter, the new one?
Oh, that's funny.
Come on. Adam and Steve. What the hell was that all about? Before a live interview with documentary filmmaker Michael Moore, CNN aired a segment entitled Sicko Reality Check, in which Dr. Sanjay Gupta, I nearly pooped it when the last time I saw Dr. Gupta, the network's chief medical correspondent, aimed to keep Moore honest and fact-check his new film, Sicko. The 4-minute piece concluded that Moore did fudge the facts and implied that Sicko was misleading in portraying healthcare systems in other countries, such as France, the UK, and Canada, as better than the one in the US, eh? When given a chance to speak, Moore immediately put host Wolf Blitzkrieg on the defensive. The report was so biased, I can't imagine what pharmaceutical companies' ads are coming up right after our break here, said Moore. Why don't you tell the truth to the American people? You go, Mike. I wish that CNN and the other mainstream media would just for once tell the truth about what's going on in this country. Moore argued that CNN has got such a lousy track record of reporting the truth about the war in Iraq and asking tough questions that Americans should be really skeptical of the reporting on health care. Oh, there's your friend Candy Cowley is on CNN right now, as a matter of fact, if you got a big screen.
My buddy.
You're the ones who are fudging the facts, said Moore. You fudge the facts to the American people now for I don't know how long about this issue, about the war, and I'm just curious, when are you going to just stand there and apologize to the American people for not bringing the truth to them that isn't sponsored by some major corporation? Blitzer grew defensive and backed up his fellow CNN employee, saying that he would stand behind correspondent Sanjay Gupta's record on medical issues. Moore, in response, vowed to post a rebuttal on his website, michaelmoore.com, showing that Gupta's facts weren't accurate. I'm going to put the real facts up there on my website, said Moore, so that people can see that what he said was just absolutely wrong.
Absolutely.
Right. Turned to the war in Iraq, Moore accused Gupta, who spent time embedded with U.S. troops in Iraq, and the mainstream media at large, of refusing to ask our leaders the hard questions and demand the honest answers. Moore laid the blame for the continued U.S. involvement in the war in Iraq at the feet of the media, arguing that they failed to do their jobs and questioned the Bush war policy. Blitzkrieg refused to argue with Moore about Iraq and instead steered the conversation back to the topic of health care. Moore was asked which of the U.S. presidential candidates he thought would best fix America's health care system. He didn't name a specific candidate, but said that the Democratic candidates as a whole need to be more specific about how they plan to achieve their goal of universal health care. Our own government admits that because of the 47 million who aren't insured, we now have about 18,000 people a year who die in this country just because they don't have health insurance. That's 6 9/11s every single year, concluded Moore. We need universal health care that's free for everyone who lives in this country. It'll cost us less than what we're spending now lining the pockets of those private health insurance companies or these pharmaceutical companies. After the interview, Blitzkrieg found sympathy from fellow CNN hosts Lou Dobbs and Jack Cafferty. After watching that Michael Moore interview, said Cafferty, I've decided whatever CNN's paying, it ain't enough. As they kissed Wolf's ass. As they kissed his very, very Israeli, pro-Israeli Jewish ass. And then it's got the video on there from the Situation Room. It looks like, as Bocamper would say, a really bad situation for Wolf. 10th and Wolf, don't forget, it's a pretty good movie.
Okay.
Don't read the reviews on there on IMDb or anything.
I won't.
It's one thing I've learned.
Check it out.
It's bad enough to read the reviews of like movie critics to decide whether you want to go see a flick or not. That's bad enough. When we read the stuff that just everyday schleppers put out there, forget about it. What the hell do they know? It's good. It's a good mob movie. And, of course, I know you love mob movies.
Sure.
And it's got James Marsden in it, which you wouldn't hold it against him, the fact that he looks so good. It's got a lot of ugly people in it, too, so you'll feel better. Oh, man. Although I checked out, of course, during the break, I checked out some pictures. He looks better than Bill Smatt, I'll say that. But then again, so does your ass.
Thank you.
Wow. Now, you haven't seen that picture yet?
No.
I might have to email that to you.
For the link or something.
It's really that illuminating. Father Time, Santa Claus, and Yule Gibbons. 930 votes on our award-winning poll today. Chris didn't even have to break a sweat today to get to 1,000. See how much great it is when I'm here to do these polls, Chris?
It's a wonderful
by the
thing
hand down the garden path, huh?
It's wonderful when you're here to push the poll.
Yeah, quit kissing my ass. You're not fooling anybody. Pendejo.
What?
Cindy Sheehan, the fallen soldier's mother who galvanized the anti-war movement, said Sunday that she plans to run against House Speaker Nancy Pelosi unless Nancy moves to oust President Bush in the next 2 weeks. You go, Cindy. I'm going to move to California just so I can vote for her. What do you say?
All right.
Sheehan said she'll run against the San Francisco Democrat in 2008 as an independent if Pelosi doesn't file articles of impeachment against Bush by July 23rd. That's when Sheehan and her supporters are to arrive in Washington, D.C. after a 13-day caravan and walking tour starting from the group's war protest site near Bush's Crawford Ranch. Democrats and Americans feel betrayed by the Democratic leadership, Sheehan told the AP. We hired them to bring an end to the war. I'm not too far from San Francisco, so it wouldn't be too big of a move for me. I'd give her a run for her money, she said. She'd kick her ass in Frisco, you know that? She would kick her big, fat, smelly ass. Messages left with Pelosi's staff were not immediately returned. The White House didn't comment on Sheehan's plan. They basically pretend she doesn't exist, you know?
Right.
She plans her official candidacy announcement today. Sunday wrapped up what is expected to be her final weekend at the 5-acre Crawford lot that she sold to California radio talk show host Bree Walker, who plans to keep it open to protesters. Bree Walker, that's not the one that's married to Jim Lampley, is it?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Why did you pause so long?
Because I thought it was a trick question.
Why, you thought I was going to say something grotesque about the fact that she's got no, what is it she doesn't have?
She has fused fingers and toes.
She has fused fingers? What does that mean?
They look like flippers, kind of.
Oh, like Flipper?
Like bony, knotted, fused
Do they look like
fingers.
Luke Halpin?
No.
No? Not that good?
No.
What is he, about 80 now? Luke Halpin ought to hang it up too, man. He must be about 100 years old. See, that's one thing, you know. I will say this. Most people, at one time in their life, there was a period of time at some age when they looked pretty good. Maybe it was when they first came out of their mother's womb. Maybe I looked good then, because since then, never
Probably
again.
not, all covered in blood and mucus and water.
Yeah, well, but I'm saying compared to the rest of their life.
Distorted and pointy-headed.
For some of us, that was as good as we ever looked. That's what I'm trying to say to you. She first came to Crawford in August 2005 during Bush's vacation, demanding to talk to him about the war that claimed her son Casey's life in 2004. She had became the face of the anti-war movement during her 26-day roadside vigil. It swelled 1,000, but it also drew counter-protests of Bush supporters, many of whom said she was hurting troop morale. Sheehan, who has never held political office, recently said that she was leaving the Democratic Party because it caved into the president, and of course she is absolutely correct. Last week she announced her caravan to Washington, which she calls the People's Accountability Movement. I didn't expect to be back so soon, but the focus is different than it was before, Sheehan said Sunday. Instead of talking and making accusations, we're going into communities and talking to the people who have been hurt by the Bush regime. We're finding out how we can help people, she'd be saying. Sheehan, who turns 50 today, said Bush should be impeached because she believes he misled the public about reasons for going for war, violated the Geneva Convention by torturing detainees, and crossed the line by commuting the prison sentence of Scooter Libby. She said other grounds for impeachment are the domestic spying program and the inadequate and tragic response to Hurricane Katrina. How those poor schleppers do in New Orleans, by the way? They doing any better? No.
No.
Sheehan said she hopes Pelosi files the articles of impeachment so she can move on to her next projects, including overseas trips for humanitarian work. But if not, Sheehan said she's ready to run. I'm doing it to encourage other people to run against Congress members who are not doing their jobs, who are beholden to special interests, Sheehan said. Pelosi let the people down who worked hard to put Democrats back in power, who we thought were our hope for change. And you know why, what the deal was with that? And that's because they were naive.
Yep.
Pelosi was elected to the House in 87 and became the first woman speaker in January, and Huber and Dreard. Sheehan said she lives in a Sacramento suburb but declined to disclose the city, citing safety reasons. The area is outside Pelosi's district, but there are no district residency requirements for members of Congress, according to the California Secretary of State's office. I mean, if Arnold can be the governor, who's an Austrian Nazi bastard, then why the hell can't she be, Speaker of the House, or something, anyway? She ain't going to be Speaker of the House.
May I see you, Anita?
That's right. Screw you, Arnold, you Nazi bastard, you. You phony baloney. And not only that, but...
Oh! You fairy!
That, too. 938 votes. In the next hour, we're going to go over 1,000 easily. We'll slide right in there, baby, just like sliding into home plate during tonight's All-Star game. Are you all pumped up about that? Now, are you going to be watching, Chris? I don't know.
I don't know. Probably not.
Well, why not? Can you think of anything more boring than watching baseball, especially a meaningless All-Star game? Alex Rios was selected at the All-Star game from the Toronto Blue Jays.
Congratulations.
You're not excited about that?
No.
They like me so much here, they changed the name from the Sky Dome, which to me was one of the best names of a stadium ever, to the Rogers Center, just because I came here.
Oh, God!
How do you like that, huh? You think it's just a coincidence, don't you?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That the cable and the phone company, everything is named Rogers now, and that's only because of me. Anybody buying that?
No.
It's better than Bill Smat, I'll tell you that. That ain't where it at, is Bill Smat. I have seen some pictures of some really funky-looking people. But you know something?
What?
In a way, it's good he looks like that. Because if he looked like a real person, somebody might actually listen to what he's saying.
Makes sense.
The bit about Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve. My God. 11:56 at 560 WQM.
This is Brady Quinn. Whenever I shave my balls, I listen to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
Yeah! What's up, y'all? This your boy D-Mike. You see, I usually do songs with, like, hooks and concepts and shit, right? But that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. Something about the Rockets. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-S-B-O-O-K. 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 Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book. R-E-A-D-S-B-O-O-K. 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 Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Body needs water, so drink that. Body needs water, so drink that. Your body needs water, so drink that. Your body needs water, so drink that. Buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Where deodorant, 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 where deodorant. Toss speed stick, it's not expensive. It's toss speed stick, it's not expensive. It's toss speed stick, it's not expensive. It's toss speed stick, it's not expensive. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Book, read a book, read a book, read a book. Book, read a book, read a book, read a book. Book, read a book, read a book, read a book. Book, R-E-A-D-S-B-O.
I know you guys are going to give me a lot of crap. Oh, he's still playing that thing. You know what? I like it. I don't really care whether you like it or not, or whether you think I overplayed it or not. And you ought to like it because you did that great editing job, and everybody kisses your ass. Boy, George did a phenomenal job, which he did.
I do like it.
So so why do we have to listen to these other losers there like Chris?
Well, you know, I'm weak. I listen to anybody.
Yeah, well, the day when we start letting Chris program the show, that's the day we might as well hang it up, and then let Greg Budell come in. Then you'll appreciate me once you have to work with Greg Budell.
I believe the complaint was that it was played too much.
Too bad.
Not that you can't play it at all, just, you know.
It's like sex. You can't have too much. Same thing with that bit. Like sex at Abercrombie and Fitch. Although, you know, you don't have to, I don't want too much. I just like a little bit would be good to start. Oh, God, what a place.
Enough to wet your beak.
Look at this. Hialeah. Trucker shot friend in the face with a shotgun for grabbing his butt. Well, it's just a sports thing.
Rectum.
Let me say it again. When I see a guy put his hand on another guy's ass, and baseball's very big for that, and football as well. You don't see that in hockey because real men play hockey. That's a real sport. But in baseball and football, baseball more than any other, they pat each other on the ass. The manager comes out or the pitching coach comes out to make a pitching change, and he takes the ball from the pitcher, and what does he do, Chris? He pats him on the ass as he leaves the mound. Am I right?
Yeah, usually.
Almost every time he puts his hand on it, and to me that's, I don't care what anybody says.
You just sound jealous.
It depends on who the pitcher is. If it was Justin Thompson, I would have been real jealous. Whatever happened to him? God, man, he was cute. Hialeah truck driver killed his friend with a shotgun last week because the man grabbed his buttocks in a sexual manner, police said. How do you grab somebody's buttocks in a sexual manner, as opposed to what other kind of a manner is there?
Gay.
Huh? You understand?
Yeah.
What other kind of a way is to grab somebody's ass in a non-sexual way? I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
I don't know. Maybe your doctor can, but other than that...
Maybe a demonstration is in order at the Abercrombie & Bitch. Oh, my God. And I'll tell you where else, and now, I don't want to get, sidetracked from the story. I'll get back to it. But how many times have I talked about the fact that Indian guys are, underrated as far as their looks? And that's because most people run away because of the curry aroma. Oh, gee, I don't want to look at these people. They smell like curry. And that's because that's all they eat. There was a young man, I would say around 20. Oh, there he goes again with those 20-year-olds. That's right, at Woodbine yesterday, playing with his buddy. Well, I mean, playing the slots with his buddy. In fact, they looked like maybe they've been playing together other things. He was so good-looking that it penetrated my brain. That's how handsome he was. Handsome.
Your
brain.
What do you
mean by handsome? Now, why is it that Indian men, so many of them are so good-looking, and Indian women, although not that I pay that much attention, I don't recall ever seeing, too many really beautiful Indian women. Am I wrong?
Yes.
I am wrong?
Yes.
Well, there you go. So I'll leave that to you, and I'll stick with
giant eyes, big, beautiful eyes.
I really was tempted. I mean, not tempted really that I would do it, but it crosses your mind that you would like to go over and say, you just can't say it to people about how beautiful you are, like that.
Right.
But you can't say that to people. You can't walk over to a guy and say, man, you are really something else.
Especially if you're an old fag approaching a guy.
Yeah. Well, what if I wasn't an old fag? What if I was a young guy like him and I would have gone over? He'd have probably said, well, let's boogie, baby. He was, I think, home. But anyway.
Yeah.
Can we get back to this Hialeah truck driver? He killed his friend with a shotgun because the man grabbed his buttocks in a sexual manner. His buttocks. Rolando Aguilar has been charged with first-degree murder in the death of Omar Febles. Or is that Febles? F-E-B-L-E-S? It's got to be Febles, right? It can't be Feebles. Febles? Well, what do you mean you don't know? It's got to be Hispanic. First of all, it's in Hialeah. His first name is Omar, and unless he's a tent maker, maybe he's a terrorist. I don't know.
I would say Febles.
Febles. Isn't that what I just said? Don't start with that pendejo again stuff.
I wouldn't.
Hialeah police said Aguilar, 55, confessed to killing Febles, 48, on the 4th of July, on Hank's birthday. Oh. According to a report in the Herald, Aguilar told police that friends had been drinking together and decided to stay the night at Aguilar's apartment. Oh, no. Now we get to the meat of the matter. The two men were sleeping in the same bed when Febles woke Aguilar with his sexual advances, prompting Aguilar to retrieve his shotgun from the closet and shoot Febles in the face, in the puss. Aguilar then ransacked the room to make it look like a burglary, police said. He killed him dead. Well, let me ask you this. Why was he sleeping in the same bed?
I think they said they were drunk.
Oh, is that what it was?
Like
not drunk enough to...
passed out in the same
Not
place.
drunk enough to detect those sexual advances on his buttocks.
Apparently once he detected them, that's when he rejected them.
I see. Not a good idea to be grabbing somebody's buttocks in the middle of the night.
No, not unless you ask permission first.
Unless it's somebody you know pretty good.
Get a signed waiver, notarized with a witness.
There was no mourning at the funeral. I mean, you knew how to get to the story eventually about the N-word. This is so stupid, man.
Oh, please.
It's so typical of the kind of crap that people waste time with in America.
Cracker, please.
Yeah, cracker, please is correct. Now, let's bury the cracker word, too. Can't we do that, the C word?
Nah.
Maybe we could have a funeral for the C word that Bo Camper so upset about, the coon word, okay? Haven't heard that in the coon's age. Can't say that no more. What is with him anyway? Did somebody get to him, or did somebody grab his buttocks too hard in the locker room or sometime? 959 votes on the poll, by the way. Let's get to 1,000 this hour so we don't have to potski around in that big 1 to 2 hour. Hundreds of onlookers cheered yesterday as the NAACP put to rest a long-standing expression of racism by holding a public burial for the N-word during its annual convention. Now, I'm curious, but I'm looking through the CNN story, and nowhere in the story does it actually say the word.
Well, because it was put to rest.
Oh, I see.
It's dead.
Oh.
Never going to hear it again.
I thought God is dead.
It was out of respect to the word.
The ceremony included a march by delegates from across the country, from downtown Detroit's Cobo Center to Hart Plaza. Along the way to horses. Now, what kind of a name word is that? Percheron horses? Percheron?
Never heard of it.
Perch on this. 2 Percheron horses, I have no idea what that is. I'm not going to pretend that I do, because I mean, I know a little bit about horses, but not that kind. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if on the racing network there's horses racing running round and round and people losing their money on them.
And the overweights, number 1 Carol's Pick carries 3 over.
Well, that's good. 3 pounds over. No sweat. Get off of my cloud. Get away from me with that horse racing crap. Anyway, they pulled a pine box at the door with a bouquet of fake black roses and a black ribbon printed with a derivation of the word. The coffin is to be placed at Detroit Memorial Park Cemetery and will have a headstone. Oh, my God. Although that's the appropriate place for it, though, I would think, isn't it? In Detroit?
Sure.
Today, we're not just burying the N-word, we're taking out of our spirits, said Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. We're burying all the things that go with the N-word. We have to bury the pimps and the hoes that go with it. Oh, well, I hope they ever got a lot of headstones, man, because there's a lot of pimps and a lot of hoes. He continued, die, N-word, and we don't want to see you around here no more, is what he said. The N-word has been used as a slur against blacks for more than a century, says CNN. It remains a symbol of racism, but it's also used by blacks when referring to other blacks, especially in comedy routines and rap and hip-hop music, nigga. This was the greatest child that racism ever birthed, said the Reverend. Now, that was with an A, by the way, what I just said. Does that make it okay if it ends with an A?
What word did you say?
Oh, no. You know what I'm saying, don't you?
Yes, of course.
If it ends in an A, then it's okay. If it ends in ER, is it did you say what I thought you said?
Yeah, don't by saying that.
Right. This was the greatest child that racism ever birthed, Reverend Otis Moss III, assistant pastor at Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago, said in his eulogy. He had a eulogy for that word. Let's bury a bunch of words, okay? Like work. Public discussion on the word's use increased last year following a tirade by Seinfeld actor Michael Richards, who used it repeatedly at an L.A. comedy club while responding to a heckler. He later issued a public apology. Too late. The issue about racially insensitive remarks heated up earlier this year after talk show host Don Imus described black members of the Rutgers University women's basketball team as...
That's your cue, George.
What? Oh, sorry.
Nappy-headed hoes.
NAACP National Board Chairman Julian Bond repeated the call during the opening address Sunday night for the 98th Annual Convention, which runs through Thursday. While we're happy to have sent a certain radio cowboy back to his ranch, we ought to hold ourselves to the same standard, Bond said. If he can't refer to our women as hoes, then we shouldn't either. Well, that's a good point, Julian. I always liked Julian Bond until he made some comment about sending the cowboy back to his ranch, to his ranch. Black leaders, including the Reverends Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, have challenged the entertainment industry and the American public to stop using the N-word and other racial slurs. Well, guess what, guys? When you stop using it, then maybe we will, okay? The NAA held a symbolic funeral in Detroit in what year is that, 11 for Jim Crow? The systematic, mostly Southern practice of discrimination against and segregation of blacks from the end of post-Civil War Reconstruction of the mid-20th century. Can that possibly say 1911?
Maybe.
I don't know. I can't read this. It's one of those typo things, you know, which makes it always more exciting. Makes it more of a challenge when you can't read the damn number or the word or stuff like that. And now that Miguel isn't around anymore, who am I going to piss off by reading all these these important bedtime stories on the air?
Oh, he's still listening.
Is he still listening? Are
he called up
sure of that?
Yeah, he called up yesterday.
Love you, Miguel. We miss you badly. And your replacement, by the way, somebody, now, who is it that did it?
Someone in that department.
Someone in promotions that did an unctuous thing. I guarantee if Miguel would have been there, it would never have happened.
That's right.
Not Rolly. It was
not the replacement, but some other flunky.
Some jerk, some jackass, some...
This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're listening to the Hockey Authority, Neil God.
Hey everybody, I'm Brownie Brown, accountable for everybody drowned and drowned. As a human being, I'm a big disappointment, but I got a brown nose and I knows where to point it. There was no rush to get them saved. They don't vote Republican anyway. I did everything I possibly can to show my support for the Ku Klux Klan. Oh, what a job I had as the rector of FEMA, when I ain't much more than a weaselly schemer and a clueless son of a bitch.
Absolutely.
Gets his gigs, brown nose in the ridge. Gets his gigs, brown nose in the ridge. New Orleans is wiped out and gone, but W said I did one heck of a job, and it sure pays off to be a crony and another white-pasty Christian phony. The National Guard is down there now, with orders just to get the press out of town. Everybody go home, there's nothing to see. Everything here is peachy keen. Oh, the hurricane gave us the big easy for neocon social engineering, like a giant Republican squeegee. Praise Jesus Bush, our Lord and King. Praise Jesus Bush, our Lord and King. I don't believe compassion's what we lack. It serves the right to hapless blacks, and you dissenters who say it's a national disgrace. They shouldn't have it black in the first place. This is no time to play the blame game, since we know that hurricanes are caused by gays who are not the right kind of homo. Like Scotty McClellan and Karl Rove, oh, we're achieving the American right-wing dream to make everybody white like me, and an ignorant son of a bitch who gets his jobs brown nose in the ridge. Oh, how I miss petting my Arabian horses. I'd rather do that than watch floating corpses. I'm a negligent murderer now, and I'll keep going down to keep my nose brown. I'm a negligent murderer now, but I'll keep going down to keep my nose brown.
Yeah, he was a bad public official. He should be executed, Brownie Brown. China, we should take a page out of the Chinese book. China executed the former head of its Food and Drug Watch today for approving untested medicine in exchange for cash, the strongest signal yet from Beijing that it's serious about tackling its product safety crisis. If it's made in China, don't eat it.
That's a good plan. Or Mexico.
His execution was confirmed by state TV and the official Xinhua news agency. The few corrupt officials of the SFDA are ashamed of the whole system, and their scandals have revealed some very serious problems. Agency spokeswoman Yan Yingyang said at a news conference that that's her name. Yingyang. Yan Jiang.
Wing Wang.
Said at a news conference held to highlight efforts to improve China's track record on food and drug safety. They're embarrassed because they killed your dogs and cats and stuff like that, and then there were people getting bad toothpaste and all of these things. You know? Tainted toothpaste. You thought it was toothpaste, but taint what you thought. Now, I looked up in Wikipedia. Nigga is a term used in African-American vernacular English. Ebonics, it says. Now, why would they dignify Ebonics as if it was like some kind of legitimate...
You keep misinterpreting it. They needed to call it something. The teacher needed to call what the kids...
How about illiterate?
See, they couldn't say that.
How about illiterate?
Listen, we know what that is. Listen, wink, wink. Come over here.
Oh.
We're going to tell you a secret. We can't tell these kids that mommy and dad are a bunch of ignorants that don't talk right. So we got to call it something.
Ignorance?
We got to call it something
Ignots?
that won't offend them so that we can teach them how to not speak
So we call it bubonics?
All right? Everybody misinterpreted that whole
It's a plague,
thing.
man. It's a real plague.
Yeah, but you got to call it something.
I like that, the Ebonic plague. Anyway, it's an African-American vernacular English that began as an I dialect form of the word, and that's got the N-word, which I better not say, which is derived ultimately from the Latin word Niger. See, and I don't know how you would say that in Latin, because you wouldn't say G wouldn't be Niger, like in the,
Say it in Latin the way you'd say it in Italian or Spanish, man.
Meaning the color black.
Negro, black.
I don't know how you say it in Latin. I mean, I had 3 years of Latin, and I conduct my mass in Latin every Sunday.
How is it spelled?
Niger.
Niger?
Right.
Niger.
I beg your pardon?
Miguel.
At any rate, that's right. And the color black. So it's like it's just
Right,
like
it just means
you
the color
notice how
black,
these
like
things all
Schwartz,
tie in together.
Schwartz.
It's like Schwartz.
Right.
Schwarz in German and in Yiddish means black. Schwarzer means a person. Now, we've been through this a million times. And, of course, Mo used to get, oh, my God, under the guise of shtick, he's saying things he ought to have a bullet in the brain. Well, what's wrong with that? There is nothing derogatory about the word in and of itself, other than depending on the usage, okay?
Right.
It's like Jew. You know, I'm a Jew. But if you said you're a Jew bastard, it might be derogatory. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or if you said you damn Jew, you mocky Jew kike bastard, if you said that, it might be slightly derogatory, and I might take umbrage with that, even though, of course, I'm not really interested in any of the bubbly mussies or the trappings except the deli, you know. I do like the deli. I like my cheese blintzes.
Sure.
What are you playing? What is that crap?
DMX.
What is it?
It's DMX. He likes that word. He uses it a lot, and he's entitled to. So
well, we don't want to hear him.
celebrate.
We don't want to put that word on the air. Are you crazy or what?
What?
Next you'll be playing that nappy-headed hose thing.
Nappy-headed hose.
987 votes on the poll, rhymes with hoe. I mean, it's all part of a, well, I don't want to go, I don't want to go in. How did you get me sour? That's because of the funeral for the N-word, you know.
That's right. I didn't plan that.
I had nothing to do with it. I seen it on the news, and of course I saw that story there, and I figured, you know, you'd be really depressed if I didn't cover it with a blanket.
That's right. I mentioned it. Well, they were
Now that
showing
Bob Barker and Rick Shaw have hung up their microphones, what other old coot or broadcast legend should seriously consider hanging it up? Larry King, 291 votes. He's been leading from the get-go, as they say, and he's just crushing the competition here. Andy Rooney, 153. Paul Harvey, good day, 142. Barbara Walters, 97. See, if Andy Rooney and Paul Harvey are 88 and they're still on the air and still making a lot of money, then how come I can't be on until I'm 88? That would be great. That would be another 24 years. By that time, Chris would be like an old man and George would be like Methuselah.
Right.
Paul Harvey, 142. So those three have got the big numbers. After that, it's kind of like small taters. Barbara Wawa's got 97. Regis Philbin, 72. The Humper, Hank Goldberg, 68. Neil Rogers, only 51. Hank's got me by 17. By 2.5 years and by 17 votes. G. Gordon Liddy, 49. Roger Ebert, and we apologize to what's left of him, 20. What is that? Is that something you're playing, or what is that?
I'm not playing nothing.
What is that sound? Oh, it's something outside. Well, a lot of sounds out here today. Roger Ebert's got 20. Keith Jackson's got 19. Are you sure that he's actually still doing stuff, Chris?
I said I don't know.
Keith Jackson.
Last I knew, he was doing West Coast stuff.
Oh, Nelly. John McLaughlin's got 17 votes. And Morley
Nelly?
Safer, he's moving up very slightly. He's got 8 out of 990, which means after the break, we'll have your 1,000 votes, Chris.
This is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
Absolutely.
I took a course on Ebonics. They say the future be bright for me. Now I can't get no job, 'cause I don't got no literacy. I was talking like an old Negro. Ebonics taught me how this way. Now I can't do nothing, but my heritage say that's okay. Change my name to Shufro. Drive a deuce and a quarter in a Cadillac. I remember when I was stealing all the white man's cars, hanging outside the Belvedere bar, crying the blues about poverty. White devils got no job for me, and I thought Ebonics would give my life a chance. Now I got to go and sell more crack cocaine, 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 crack cocaine. Lordy, what a boring song. Ebonics makes me sound funny. Got nothing to do with literacy. Now I got to make more money. Labor food sounds good to me. I got plenty of nothing. Ebonics ain't getting me anywhere. Maybe I'll mug an old white bitch, steal a purse and full of hair. Then I'm gonna take some money, buy a stereo and a Frigidaire. I remember when I was stealing All the white man's cars hanging outside the Belvedere bar, crying the blues about poverty. White devils got no job for me, and I thought Ebonics would give my life a change now. Got to go and sell more crack cocaine, 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 crack cocaine. Come on, everybody.
Yo, look here, man.
We gonna play a game.
Say what?
We be flipping scripts that rhyme,
What's that rhyme?
and Ebonics be the name.
Yo, what you talking about?
You take a funky dope word
Like, boy.
and bust some skills to make it rhyme.
Gotta bust some skills.
Check out what I've been kicking.
What you talking about?
You have it down in no time.
Show up.
Skeezer.
Skeezer, skeezer, for pizza, banana, banana, for pizza, pizza, for pizza.
Skeezer. Let's be new homie.
Homie, homie, for homie, banana, banana, for homie, pizza, for homie.
Homie. Yo, this be Anthony. Anthony, for Anthony, banana, banana, for Anthony, pizza, for Anthony. Anthony. Who's that hoe?
Ho, 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 banana, banana, for ho,
Pizza, for ho. Ho. You be boning.
Boning, boning, for boning, banana, banana, for boning, pizza, for boning. Boning.
Now try your luck with Buck.
Buck, buck, for buck, banana, banana, for buck, pizza, for buck.
Buck.
Ebonics game. Ebonics game.
12:35 at 560 WQA. Well, I want to get this straightened out. According to the Urban Dictionary, there are 20 different definitions for the word pendejo.
All right.
Now, remember we were talking before the show today about the difference between Spanish words and Mexican.
All the countries
and,
have their
Cuban
own distinctions.
Number one, pendejo is a Spanish slang for an idiot, stupid, or dumbass.
Right.
That's two, pendejo is a single pubic hair.
That's right. That's the Cuban technical definition, but still it's used as a dumbass.
Can I continue reading
Yes,
these?
you must.
I guess I don't really need to read any of this if you have the definitive answer.
No, just commenting as you go.
In Mexico slang, it's used as an insult like idiot or fool, but in Peru slang, it's used to describe a smart guy with few or no scruples.
Okay.
Definition 3, Spanish slang for a-hole. 4, pendejo is Spanish slang. Oh, I see. Well, why do they have it there twice? Oh, I see. Ay mío, tú eres un pendejo.
Okay.
But there it says jerk. It doesn't say.
Right.
Tú eres un pendejo, Pedro.
Okay.
Number 5. On the west side of San Antonio, Texas, I discovered that pendejo means more than just stupid, which is what I had been told. The connotation on the west side had more to do with being called an effing idiot. Naturally, this was not taken too well. It required some fancy explaining to get out of Tex-Mex slang is tricky stuff. How do you like that? On the west side of San Antonio. Numero 6, dumbass can be used as a term of endearment, I guess it says. Orale? Oh, no, I'm not reading that word. No.
Orale.
No, the word I told you before the show today begins with a P, and you said you don't know the word. I'm not reading it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
If you like somebody a lot, sometimes you give them a little pinch. But anyway,
all right.
Pendejo is a pubic
nothing.
hair. For Cuban people, it is used to describe somebody who is cowardly or is a wuss. It says the P word. I can't read it. Pubes are always hidden, and that's where the meaning comes from, it says.
I see.
No seas tan pendejo, Alex. Si te gusta la muchacha y something con... I can't read it. I can't read it.
All right.
Spanish slang with different meanings depending on the context. Can mean a-hole or dumbass, much less severe than English cuss words. Can be used as a casual insult depending on the context in which it is used. Casual insult or whatever. Let's see. Hey, Professor, you better get with it. That's older than you are, okay, that bit. But you're right, it is good. He's all whipped up today. You want to know why?
Why?
I can't tell you.
All right.
It's a big anniversary day.
Oh, good for him.
That sounds gay. No, good for us. Pendejo can be a term of endearment, but it can also be used as an insult depending on who you say it to. Very similar to the use of the N-word. Aha!
See.
To a friend, what's up, pendejo, is similar to, hey, how you doing? To a stranger, what's up when the pendejo is similar to, what's up, you a-hole? I see. Well, how do you like that? So again, it has to do with intent. A single pubic hair, especially around the butthole.
Really now?
Oh, and now we get back to Cuban again, and if it's Cuban, you know it has to do with ass. You know that. Let me ask you about that.
I guess you know all about it.
And it says a person is referred to as such because he allows himself to be schmid on. Wow. How do you like that?
Literally or figuratively?
Este tipo es un pendejo. And what does that mean? Or don't I want to know?
He allows himself to be crapped on.
Is that what that means?
That's one of the applications there, yeah. A schmuck.
A Hispanic a-hole can be used as term of endearment. Yo, pendejo. Ni se mags. What does that mean?
I don't know that one.
Oh. I don't think you know any Spanish.
Nope.
In Argentina, usually a young person, es un pendejo tiene 12 años. So what the hell does that mean?
That would so not fly in the Spanish circles I'm familiar with. You don't call a child a pendejo. Used by
Mexicans and Chicanos for a-hole. In Puerto Rican, means wuss, sissy, bitch, or wimp. Boy, this is good. I like words with 20 different meanings.
Sure. You're always going to get in trouble with those.
Upon further investigation, I discovered that a pendejo is literally a single pubic hair used to describe someone of low value, may be used as a term of endearment among chums. Yo, pendejo, get off my sister. I see. Wow. Woo! I've heard of get off my cloud, but get off my sister, that's another category. Pendejo means moron in Spanish. A sucker or stupid idiot. Number 19, similar to all the rest, more like someone who is a wuss. And again, it's got the P word, but we better not say that, or even make those sounds.
No.
And last and certainly least, in New Mexican slang, pendejo means cop.
Cop?
Pendejo, huh?
As in police?
Pendejo factory, as in police station.
Huh.
In New Mexico. How do you like that?
That reflects their attitude towards law enforcement, I suppose.
Wow. And speaking of pendejo, Bill O'Reilly is off the air in Washington, D.C. Did you know that they took him off the air on the radio?
I did not know.
Lost his affiliate in D.C. What a shame. I got a column by Steve Young about that. And, of course, in Miami market, he's still got a point. He has never moved the Richter scale, kind of like Mancow, you know? When you've got a number in a book that starts with you got Cirrus, baby, that means ain't nobody listening, you know? Kind of like we had in that last book from 11 o'clock at night till midnight, when we had those, what did we have on? Oh, ESPN radio, which at least they pushed back till, well, like tonight we got it on after the All-Star game. Because we know nobody's going to be listening to the All-Star game. Who would be listening to it on the radio when it's on free TV and everybody's at home by that hour, right?
People driving around.
Who's going to be driving around between 8 and midnight tonight? Unless they're going to the police concert. You going?
I wish. Hey, anybody got tickets? I want to go.
Yeah, you know, that's something you might enjoy, see?
I would enjoy it, and I wish I had
Why didn't somebody in the building hook you up for that?
In the building.
Yeah. How about somebody over at Power? They're in the building.
I don't think that's their thing.
That's not their bag?
Not the police.
They're not playing Roxanne?
No.
In Every Death You Make?
No.
That's one of my favorite all-time songs, Every Breath You Take. I know we have discussed this in the past.
I know.
You don't like that much, do you?
I like it fine. They overplayed it to hell, but whatever.
Oh, here we go with overplayed again. See, here you go. That's got nothing to do with whether it's good or not. It's like that.
Yeah!
See, that overplayed business is, I think, overstated, overdone.
Nevertheless.
This song is so good.
I liked it before I got tired of it.
I get chills from it. Yeah. You liked it before you hated it? Like the war. You were for it before you were against it? Is that how it was?
Right. It's nothing like that.
We got 1,004 votes on the poll, by the way, Chris. I notice Chris is kicking it up new style now. Aren't you jumping around the control room? If you're not, do it. Get some exercise, you cow, you.
Will do.
Tell you, stay alive, for Christ's sake. Are we going to play the police instead of doing a break or what?
Well, we can do the break anytime you want.
Sick of Michael Jackson, Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes, and Whitney Houston's long battle with crack. Sick of hearing Paris Hilton's voice and how Jen won't take Brad back. Sick of the Olsen twins and hearing Lindsay Lohan lost so much weight she's now just bones. Don't want to hear about Ben Affleck or when Russell Crowe starts throwing phones. Those darn celebrities are always in trouble, petty, silly, and obscene. Always on the cover of the tabloid magazines. I've got my own problems. I don't give a damn if Jessica is done with Nick, or what new addiction afflicts Andy Dick. Sick of seeing Britney, Demi Moore, Cameron Diaz, and boyfriend Justin Timberlake. All of them are plastic wind-up toys, and all of their boobs are fake. Tired of Mariah, Renee Zellweger, Tara Reid, Oprah, and Hillary Duff. Sick of hearing them all bellyache. Shut your mouth, I've had it, enough's enough. Those darn celebrities are always in trouble, petty, silly, and obscene. Always on the cover of the tabloid magazines. I've got my own problems. I don't give a damn if Kirstie Alley loses weight or crazy Courtney Love's current mental state.
You know, and why don't you start off actually with my first appearance back here on your show in 3 years, and maybe apologize to me for saying that 3 years ago, because it turned out everything I said in Fahrenheit was true. Everything's come to happen. Everything I said. I mean, I took you in that film to Walter Reed Hospital. And it took 3 years before you or any of the rest of the mainstream media would go to Walter Reed Hospital and see what was happening to our troops. So for me to have to sit here and listen again to more crap about socialized medicine or how the Canadians have it, you know, worse than us and all this, all the statistics show that we have a far worse health care than these other industrialized countries. We're the only ones that don't have it free and universal. And, you know, you said that Germany was the only one that was better than us in terms of wait times. The Commonwealth Fund last year showed of the top 6 countries, we were second to last, next to Canada.
Look, I saw the film, and it's a powerful.
I saw Dr. Sanjay Gupta over there embedded with the troops at the beginning of the war. He and the others of you in the mainstream media refuse to ask our leaders the hard questions and demand the honest answers. And that's why we're in this war. We're in the 5th year of this war because you and CNN, Dr. Gupta, you didn't do your jobs back then, and now here we are in this mess. What if you'd actually done the job on that? That's why anybody who hears anything of what you say now about universal health care should question what you're saying, what you're putting out there. You didn't do the job for us with the war. You're not doing it with this issue. And I just wonder when the American people are going to turn off their TV sets and quit listening to this stuff.
All right. Right now would be good. How do you like it? You go, Mike. How do you like that?
I like it a lot.
And there's Wolf Blitzkrieg with it. Whining and, you know. Michael Moore posted a lengthy critique of a CNN reality check that attacked his newest film, Sicko, which examines flaws in the U.S. healthcare industry. In a heated exchange with Situation Room host, the unctuous Wolf Blitzkrieg, the second part of which is set to air tonight at 7 o'clock, by the way, Moore said the 4-minute report, which aired immediately before his appearance, was biased. On his website, Moore said the Sicko Truth Squad refuted many of the findings in Dr. Sanjay Gupta's reporting, which concluded that Moore did fudge some facts in the movie. He fudged it. This is libel, the website says. There is not a single fact that's fudged in the film. We expect CNN to correct their mistakes on the air and to apologize to their viewers. Moore's website also posts links to discussions of his appearance on prominent liberal blogs, including Crooks and Liars, Huffington Post, and Brad Blog. Rachel Sklar, writing at Huffington Post, said the clip is spreading around the net like wildfire, and Brad Blog's Brad Friedman applauded Moore's dead-on-target ass-whooping to hapless Wolf Blitzkrieg and friends. How'd you like that? He was just ripping him an ass.
Good. Rip him a bigger one.
Long overdue, baby. They need to be taken off the air now.
I want to do this because of the journalists and the doctors.
Yeah, but about Dr. Sanjay Gupta. He's busy banging all the chicks there at CNN. Gupta backs up Moore's finding that the U.S. healthcare system is number 37 on the WHO's rankings of healthcare systems around the world. But Gupta encourages viewers to hold on before believing Cuba's healthcare system is better after Moore takes people there to receive treatment because Cuba ranks lower than the U.S., coming in at number 39. Sicko shows the WHO list, including Cuba's placement below the U.S., so Moore says he's not trying to deceive anybody. The fact that the healthcare system in an impoverished nation crippled by our decades-old blockade, including medical supplies and drugs, ranks so closely to ours is more an indictment of the American system than the Cuban system, Moore's website says. In his piece, Dr. Gupta says Moore is wrong in asserting the U.S. spends $7,000 per person on health care compared to Cuba spending $25 per person, putting the figure for the U.S. at $6,096 per person and Cuba spending at $229. More links to a study from the Department of Health and Human Services that projected health spending for 2006 at $7,092 per capita and $7,498 for 2007. As for Cuba, Moore's site says, Dr. Gupta and CNN need to watch Sicko first before commenting on it. Sicko says Cuba spends $251 per person on health care, not $25 as Gupta reports. And the BBC reports that Cuba's per capita health expenditure is $251, just like it says in the freaking movie. And Gupta is wrong in asserting Americans live just slightly longer than Cubans, Moore says. Just the opposite, the website says. The 2006 United Nations Human Development Report's Human Development Index states the life expectancy in the U.S. is 77.5 years, and Cuba at 77.6 years. The CNN report also cites the fact that Americans have shorter wait times than everybody but Germans for non-emergency treatment, like hip replacements or knee repairs. Moore says this isn't the whole truth, and that for sick adults waiting for a doctor's appointment, only Canadians have longer wait times, eh? In New Zealand, 81% of patients get a same or next day appointment for a non-routine visit. The comparable figures were 71% in Britain, 47% in the U.S., and 36% in Canada. Moore also refutes CNN's airing of a healthcare analyst explaining that citizens in other countries pay higher taxes to fund the more expansive healthcare programs. The movie never claims that healthcare is provided absolutely free in other countries without tax contributions from citizens, Moore points out, along with the fact that half of all the bankruptcies in the U.S. are triggered by medical bills, according to MSNBC. The Truth Squad did not mention the conclusion Gupta reached in his report that there's one fact everyone agrees on. The system here should be far better. How do you like that? Even right. Dr. Gupta says that. It sucks. It blows. Not as much as Joyce, though. And you know what we haven't played in a long, long time, even a little bit on this show?
No
fart sounds anymore. Haven't played even just a little tiny bit of that. And, you know, keep in mind that somebody lied to us about that. Well, corporate doesn't want you to play that no mo, no mo. All other crap. And little Tom Jicka sits over there in his little ivory tower writing about, well, maybe fun and entertainment wouldn't be so bad going back to that. And he'll ho, like that, I think very fun and entertaining would be like to yank out his last remaining hairs follicle by follicle, starting with his... Rectum. How do you like that, huh?
All right.
Speaking of pendejo. Well, isn't that what it is? It's pubic hair. Yeah.
That's right.
With like a tweezers. How are we doing on the poll, by the way, Neil? Don't get sidetracked with little Tommy Jick again. He hates you like poison. He doesn't like the show. You know what? Too bad, Tommy. Guess what? We like it. We like it, Tom. And the show, too.
Scott Burrell. And when I'm up in Boca Chica slapping old women with painted lips around the pool,
I listen to the Neil Rogers 1 to 2 hour.
Yeah, I listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
All right.
Look at who that is. Everybody look at who that is. Lordy, Lordy, look at who that is. Daddy with the T-ribs. He's a racing whiz. Racing around in his car, that is. The race driver that never wins. Daddy with the T-ribs.
Now see here, all you kids. They call me Mr. Ribs. One day soon I'll win a race in my Rocket 88. Oh, well, hey, baby, you sure look fine today.
Oh, Mr. Ribs, did you win the race?
Oh, well, I came in at 35th place.
Well, you earned yourself some ribs on a plate.
Forget that, honey. How's about a date?
I ain't gonna take that chance. Not if you keep coming in last.
Is that why you don't go out with me?
You ain't too slow. You can't compete.
Well, I may be slow on the street, but I sure be fast on my feet.
16 votes on our award-winning poll. How are we doing with the humper? That's a real battle there. People want somebody to hang up their microphone. Larry King wins hands down. Hank's got 69. Oh, sorry. And I got 51. He's got me beat big time. You think I can catch him?
If you start now.
No. No, he's running a lot faster than I am. Maria Barrero's 9/11 call started out calm Sunday morning in a soft, measured voice. She tells the dispatcher that her ex-boyfriend Mario wouldn't leave her alone. You're not going to like my take on this story. You want to know why?
Well, let's see what your take is, and then I'll let you.
Okay. But midway through the recording, a 9/11 dispatch tape caught part of the man's wild, knife-wielding attack that authorities say left Barrero and her roommate with stab wounds and the ex-boyfriend, Mario Cruz, dead from a deputy's gun. The call came, and well, see, I saw this story on the Sun Sentinel website whenever the hell, when did this happen? Sunday morning. So I guess I seen it yesterday.
All right.
And Mario, even though he's dead, and even though he was obviously out of control and a wild man, he was a good-looking guy.
I see.
And you know me, I always side with the good-looking guy.
I do know that.
Well, that's the way it goes. He must have had some reason. The call came in. Oh, that is so bad. The call came in just after 6 a.m. from a home in the 7100 block of Southgate Boulevard in Tamarack. Barrero complained that Cruz had been knocking on the windows all morning and wouldn't leave. He's not welcome to my house, and he knows that. He was just trying to get into my house, and he's not letting me or my roommates sleep, Barrero told the dispatcher. He's knocking on my windows. I've been telling him to leave for the past hour. He hasn't been listening. Barrero calmly added, and I'm sure he might be violent. The dispatcher replied, he has a history of violence? Yes, he does, Barrero responded. As the call goes on, the noise in the background intensifies. The dispatcher asks, is it Cruz? Then a huge crash. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
He just broke my window, Barrero yelled. The recording then becomes chaotic. Barrero can be heard yelling at Cruz to leave. She screams. Let me say it again. She screams. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He has a knife, and he's stabbing me, Barrero yells to the dispatcher. Ma'am, he's just stabbed us. Isn't that nice, though, that she said ma'am? That's all
she's always being polite. That's right.
When you're getting stabbed and she
that's
said
right.
ma'am, I
I'd
think
have probably
that's
lost it by
extraordinary.
then, yeah.
Her last words to the dispatcher are, please for help. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Help, help, please, we need help, help. Not long after that, a deputy arrived and fatally shot Cruz, who was 27.
Somebody help me!
Barrero, 21, and her male roommate, Kavan Lee Nickfar, 29, were critically injured, authorities said. It couldn't be determined whether Nick Farr was still hospitalized at North Broward Medical Center, says the Scum Sentinel. Cruz's death marked the fourth time this year that a Broward deputy has fatally shot somebody. I wonder if the first three were as good-looking as he was. He was a good-looking guy. You know that old expression about, they beautiful on the outside and also on the inside?
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess not.
Not.
He was beautiful on the outside, but nasty on him. Maybe. I don't know. He's dead. The BSO identified the deputy in the latest shooting as Gregory Stanley, 34, who has been with the agency since 2002. He's been placed on routine paid administrative leave till the investigation is complete. The shooting rattled Shirley Minnick, who moved to Southgate Villas for solitude. Oh, surprise, Shirley. It's very unsettling, said Minnick, 71, who's lived in the housing complex in the 7100 block of Southgate Boulevard for only a few months. I came here for peace and quiet. I haven't gotten any, she said. According to the sheriff's office, a raging Cruz armed with two large knives hurled a barbecue grill through the bedroom window of Barrero's townhouse. Barrero and Nick Farr fled the apartment only to be chased down and stabbed by Cruz. A deputy shot Cruz when he refused to drop the knives.
Good.
Why is that good? Drop the knife.
That's right.
Well, what kind of... That's like bows and arrows against guns, man. I just don't get it.
Yeah, guess who wins?
Well, that sounds to me like you're a...
Gun killer.
That's probably from all those shows you did with Defoe all those years. You ever work his show?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Whatever.
Investigators haven't released a motive for the attack, but Barrero repeatedly tells Cruz in the 9/11 recording that she was not intimately involved with anyone else. Barrero, who was released Sunday from University Hospital, couldn't be reached for comment. Her next-door neighbor, Miguel Diaz, 28, said Barrero and Cruz had moved to South Florida from Jersey. The pair had lived together for a while and moved apart. Cruz's parents couldn't be reached for comment. He does not have a criminal record in Florida, and he won't have one because he's dead. Menig, whose front door, outside walls, and patio were still smeared with dried blood yesterday, said she awoke Sunday to screams and pounding on her front door shortly before 6 a.m. I just heard those loud thumps. Then I heard this girl screaming. She was really terrified, said Menig, who recalled being too groggy to sleep to immediately realize what was happening. Too groggy with sleep. Minutes later, Barrero's roommate, his T-shirt soaked in blood, collapsed on Menig's patio. She went there for peace and quiet, and she got service. Now, why are you doing it with an accent like that? I mean, does that sound Jewish to you, Menig? I don't know. Do you have to be Jewish to talk like that? I think you do. A rapid string of gunshots from a deputy followed, with crews collapsing dead in the complex's parking lot. Why did he have to kill him, for crying out loud? He had knives. The deputy had a gun. Why did he have to kill him? Because what?
Knives are deadly weapons.
Yeah.
And when
I
the
bet
police...
he had another deadly weapon, too, but doesn't mention that one in the story.
Well, you could go check it out. I'm sure he's on ice somewhere.
Not that he's dead.
Yeah, you can go have a cold one.
Oh, no. Diaz said Nick Farr had recently moved into the villa with Barrero. He said he saw Nick Farr moving belongings into the unit on Saturday. He described Barrero as quite nice. On Monday, her broken bedroom window was boarded up with plywood. A damaged white Venetian blind hung above the broken glass in long loops. Barrero also pounded on neighbor Jennifer Guzman's door, leaving bloody streaks all over the white paint, Guzman said. Barrero was wearing a blue bathrobe and her hand was bleeding, Guzman said. She was panicking, saying, "Please help me. My ex-boyfriend is trying to stab me," said Guzman, 35. Mashed potatoes, gravy, and the punky pie. How do you like that? Well, that's a horrible story there, and he got all whipped up, you know. Sounds like kind of an O.J. thing. Good thing nobody got killed, except him.
Yeah.
Well, he was a good-looking guy, at least in the picture they put in the paper. Maybe they're just trying to make him look good, you know. I've always told you that, and it's true. In society, and I'm not just talking about an old fag like me that's like a sucker for a pretty face, a guy's face. It's just, in society, we tend to sympathize with good-looking people. Nasty-looking people, it's like, oh, you know, and weird-looking people, like John Mark Carr, for example. That fruitcake, it's like, who's back in the news again, too, but I'm not going to talk about it.
He is a nut. He's back in the news?
Yeah. Oh, they busted him for something. It's on our website somewhere. I wouldn't dignify him with a response. I wouldn't read any more about him than I would about Paris freaking Hilton, for Christ's sakes.
Was it kitty porn?
Lisa, no, it was not. It had nothing to do with nothing like that. I don't remember what it was. Well, why are you pushing me on John Mark Carr?
Just to be a son of a bitch.
Him back again?
Just to be a bastard.
Now, he definitely looked like the ship had landed, didn't he?
Oh,
He
yeah.
looked like one of those people who came off the spaceship. Monday, Starbucks went on trial in Manhattan, and Liza Featherstone and the Nation says she had the privilege of attending several hours of the proceedings. On the way downtown, she says, "I noticed that a young woman on the subway seemed to be using a brown paper Starbucks bag as a purse, and it did make a pretty nice handbag." Starbucks' professions of concern for corporate responsibility are much like that, attractive packaging. In the trial that began yesterday, the nation's leading purveyor of coffee-flavored milk drinks stands accused by the National Labor Relations Board of 30 violations of employee rights, especially firing workers for union organizing. Starbucks had 7 lawyers present. The 2 fired workers in question, Daniel Gross and Joe Agins Jr., both IWW members, were present. Gross wore a suit and looked sharp, as any activist appearing before a judge probably should. Agins went for a less formal look, a sleeveless muscle T-shirt. Oh, that's bright. Go to court in a sleeveless muscle T-shirt? Maybe the judge is a maricon. Today, both sides waded through details of discovery, meaning yesterday. That is to say, the NLRB lawyers asked for documents from Starbucks, and the company's legal team whined about how burdensome it would be to get so many documents because, since the turnover rate is so high, many of the relevant personnel files are now in storage. It's very difficult to get the files out once they go in, Stacey Eisenstein, one of Starbucks' lead outside counsel, argued with a straight face. More incredibly, before the hearing had officially begun, she disputed the NLRB's contention that there was a union campaign going on when Gross and Agin were fired. If that's a major cornerstone of Starbucks' defense, the company could be in trouble because the judge, who seemed very fair-minded and interested in reaching reasonable compromises, didn't buy it and allowed discovery based on the assumption that the date of the union campaign was relevant. Also, there's ample public record of the campaign, including media coverage. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I can't be there for much of the rest of the trial, unfortunately, so I hope other journalists and bloggers will go check it out. They're taking today off and back in session mañana, says Liza Featherstone in The Nation. Well, you might think, I know how much you hate the Walmart.
Right.
You might stop frequenting Starbucks so much now, too.
Maybe a little bit.
Oh, see? See that? How he picks and chooses who he don't like?
Yeah, of course.
He likes that cafe latte crap at the Starbucks.
I like a venti mocha latte frappuccino, please.
Do you really?
Yes, I do.
Not good for you.
With whipped cream.
Ooh,
haven't had one in a long time because it's
sounds awfully good, but I can't have that. You're not going to influence me no more with that crap.
Hey, I'm on an all-time low, man. I'm doing great.
Are you really?
Yeah.
All-time low?
For, like, the past 10 years at least.
Wow. Now, did I inspire you to do that, or you did it on your own?
On my own.
Thanks.
No problem.
1,024 votes on the poll. Who should hang up the microphone next? Larry King, 300 votes. Boy, out of 1,028, he's got 301 now. Just changed again. Andy Roy, I think Eric's got a button he pushes to change. I mean, I know it does change every few seconds. How often does it change? Do you have any idea? Eric can tell.
Like every 60 seconds. I'm not sure.
No. Is that long?
Maybe 30. I'll ask Eric.
Yeah, ask Eric. He'll tell you. Larry King, 301. Andy Looney, 168. Paul Harvey, 145. Barbara Wawa, 103. I think that Gene Shalit had the only other eyebrows that could compete with Andy Looney. Remember Gene Shalit?
Oh, yeah.
With that silly ass. Why is it that there are people who go out of their way to look silly? You know what I mean?
Show business. It's a gimmick.
There's no business like show business?
Show enough.
Paul Harvey, 145. He's in third. Barbara Wawa just topped 100. She's got 103. Regis, 73. The Humper's got 70. He's pulling away from my fat ass. Hank's got 70. I got 51. I'm under 5%, 4.9%. That's safe. G. Gordon Liddy, 50. Roger Ebert, 21. We apologize, Roger. Somebody tell him, pat him on the head. Keith Jackson, 21. John McLaughlin, 17. And Morley Safer's got it. We better play that McLaughlin and Company thing, or before you forget to tell me. Please. Before you forget to remind me to remember.
And your official home for Miami Dolphins football. Now, from Washington, the McLaughlin Group, featuring Eleanor Cliff, Jack Germond, and sitting in for Pat Buchanan, New York Giant Tiki Barber. Now, here's John McLaughlin. Issue 1, George W. Rings or vault? Eleanor Cliff.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jack Germond.
Well, that's not an easy choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber. I'm going to have to say the vote. Wrong! Actual answer, floor exercise.
That wasn't even a choice.
Next issue, Al Gore. Favorite Broadway show. Bring in the noise, bring in the funk, or Cats. Eleanor G, I think you're swallowing.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jackie, Big Germond.
Well, that's a very difficult choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber. I'm going to have to say rent. Not a choice, Riki Tiki Barber.
You gave an answer last time that wasn't a choice.
Wrong! Correct response, Cats. He loves them. Next issue, the cast of Big Brother should be murdered. How? Eleanor.
Guillotine.
Wrong. Jack Germond.
Dynamite.
Wrong. Tiki Barber.
I don't think they should be killed.
Wrong. Actual answer, poison pudding.
Bye-bye. 118 at 560 WQ. I haven't seen that show in a coon's age. You know, I haven't seen it in a very long time.
Right.
Well, it's on Sunday morning at some odd time on either CNBC or MSNBC. I don't know where it is. Somewhere.
So 1,037
votes on our award-winning pool. We probably could have made it to 1,100 a day, but you know what? We won't, and I don't care. I mean, Chris and I could have leaned all over the audience, but it's El Diez de Julio, for Christ's sakes.
It's summer.
That's right. It's the middle of the damn summertime. Enjoy your life. That's all. Have a good time. Do whatever you're doing.
I have to remind you of something.
What's that?
You forgot to read a last spot at the end of the last hour.
I did?
Yep.
I see. I guess I could do it now.
Why would he lie?
I forgot to. Why are you telling me now at 18 past the hour?
Well, I didn't know maybe you were going to pick it up the last break, but you didn't, so, you know.
Pick it up in the last break. It was an oversight on my part. You should have been screaming.
Well, last time I did that, you yelled at me screaming at me, so, you know.
Yeah.
I figured I'd go with the nicer approach this time.
Well, like I said, it's time to talk about my main man in the mortgage business, Anthony Caliendo. Recently, over 64 lenders have gone out of business. That's just in the last 6 months. What does that mean to you if you're looking for a mortgage? It means that the industry is making it extremely hard to get your deal done, which is why you need the main man. He's a get-it-done guy. Some of these companies are so desperate for business, they'll tell you anything under the sun to get you to call them. In the end, all you're left with is false promises. Mortgage companies will come and go, but not the main man. He'll be here through good and bad. Don't be fooled by companies promising you the world and delivering headaches. The main man isn't going to tell you what you want to hear. He's going to tell you the reality of your situation. So avoid the headaches, close your loan faster, get the best rate, go and call the main man toll-free, 1-800-MAIN-MAN. That's 1-800-MAIN-MAN, or online it's themainman.com. Now, what were you just saying?
Who?
Oh, nothing then.
Correct. 5
people, including the husband of NASCAR official Lisa France Kennedy, and a toddler in her Sanford home were killed this morning when a small plane struggling land at Orlando Sanford International Airport crashed into a home and burst into flames. That's the story that CNN was, they're on it again.
A lot of qualifications. He's instrument rated.
And they got the outer space, they got the Sky Miles O'Brien on there. If it flies, he lies. A 10-year-old boy and his parents in that Sanford home also suffered critical burns in the fireball after the crash that killed Dr. Bruce Kennedy and a passenger of the twin-engine Cessna 310. Now, do we know who these people are? Do we care about the people from NASCAR and their officials and this and that? No.
I don't.
I don't know from NASCAR. They had the Grand Prix here over this last weekend. Was it this? Yeah, I don't know when the hell it was. And they closed a whole bunch of streets and lakeshore. And why do they do that in cities? And they don't care about the traffic and about the average run-of-the-mill people. They close a whole bunch of cities, whether it's marathon races, idiots running marathons, or car races and stuff, on the streets of major cities. Why do they do that?
Money.
Bastards. John Adams, 65, has led Mount Calvary Free Will Baptist Church for 10 years near Columbus, Ohio. He faces 2 felony counts. The longtime leader of a Pleasant Township church is accused of downloading kiddie porn on his home computer.
Oh, no.
My God.
John Adams, one of the founders of our country, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Upper Arlington police conducting computer surveillance May 24th linked the kiddie porn website to the North Linden home of John W. Adams, who faces 2 felony counts of pandering. Police later searched Adams' home and found 2 child pornography movies on his computer, according to an Upper Arlington police officer who asked not to be named because he works under covers. Adams, 65, has been pastor of the Mount Calvary Free Will Baptist Church in Darbydale for more than 10 years. He was in the Franklin County Jail last night and will appear this morning in Franklin County Municipal Court. I guess he already done there. Here come the judge. The 2 felony charges for pandering sexually oriented matter involving a child and for downloading and possessing kiddie porn, authorities said. Church leaders are planning to meet today at the church to discuss the situation. I think the world of the person, Nilborn Stepp Jr., a deacon of the church, said of Adams, he's like a brother. He is a brother. I think he's a mother. We don't know the facts yet, he said. The church is blessed to have Adams as its pastor, according to Adams' biography on the church website. His biggest dream is to have each and every member of our church walk with him to the gates of heaven, probably with little kids who will be there for his amusement and abusement. Not another child molesting. Well, we don't know he molested anybody, but it sounds like he might like to, you know.
Right.
He said it don't cost nothing to look. Speaking of costing something, John McCain, he couldn't raise money in a whorehouse. John McCain's campaign manager and chief strategist resigned today in a major staff shakeup for the struggling Republican presidential candidate who's all but broke and is away lagging in the polls, baby. Bomb, 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 around. Once the American public found out that McCain was insane, they said, I don't think I'm giving him no more money or giving him my vote. In statements, Terry Nelson, a veteran of Bush's successful 2004 re-election stolen effort, said he resigned as campaign manager effective immediately, and John Weaver said he stepped down from his post of chief strategist. But other officials who spoke on condition of anonymity to avoid discussing private conversations said Nelson was fired. Several people close to Nelson disputed that characterization. Other officials said Mark Salter, a senior aide whom some consider McCain's alter ego, will continue to advise him in a voluntary role, but will cease his day-to-day involvement in the campaign. Campaign my ass. I think he's finished. Well, look at that. 7 o'clock tonight on CNN, the second part of the Michael Moore thing, ripping Wolf Blitzer and a well-deserved ass. Send Wolf back to the kibbutz, okay? Get him out of our face. Get him out of the situation room. Jackass. 2 officials said Rick Davis, a longtime aide to McCain, will take over the campaign. It's been a tremendous honor to serve Senator McCain and work on his campaign, Nelson said. As word of the changes became public, McCain was on the Senate floor defending the troop buildup in Iraq and contending the reinforcements had only just been put in place. He made his 6th trip to Iraq last week, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt his statement today that he is crazy as a bedbug. He never met a war he didn't like. Make no mistake, he said, violence in Baghdad remains at unacceptably high levels, but the U.S. and Iraq seem to be moving in the right direction, McCain said. The progress our military has made should encourage us. Right. And I think that the troops and the civilians who are dying now are dying more lightly than perhaps they may have been in the past.
Oh, yeah?
Not. He's a crazy guy. Maybe he knows, what's his name, that Bill Smat guy on the beach. Did you see that picture yet or not?
No.
Maybe I'll email it to you. Or maybe I won't. I don't know.
Maybe I do.
It's too much like work, you know. It's the middle of the summer.
I know.
Plus, I got to work 2 full days this week. Boy, that porks me off. Stupid-ass All-Star game. Why don't they just eliminate the All-Star games, Chris? Who the hell cares about it? It's like the NHL. Nobody cares about the stupid-ass All-Star game. There's no hitting. The score is like 14-10 and stuff like that. Who the hell wants to see a bunch of crap like that? Nobody.
Money.
Is that what it's about?
Of course.
Oh. Well, what do you know about that? You'd like to have some, I know that. Chris would like to have some money. Anybody out there want to help him out?
No.
Anybody want to make a donation to the Chris Whalen Survival Fund? No. What do you think? Want to stand on the street corner out there where Miguel used to stand? Look what it did for him.
No, that's okay.
We sure miss our good friend Miguel. He got screwed over by somebody.
You did your job real well.
By Jolly Raleigh Joe. They brought another one of those flunkies from Raleigh in. I think the whole city of Raleigh is going to be working at QM pretty soon. I don't know what the unemployment rate in Raleigh is, but it's going to be dropping real fast very soon. Because all those schleppers up there that couldn't get hired in a panty raid, they're going to be working at QAM. They'll be on that payroll. No wonder we can't make any money.
Roger's God. I'm dying over here.
A goofy, silly idea about a little kid who was a magic boy. The book sales were groovy, now the things are moving. This will be the biggest hit of the whole year. It could not be harder. Here comes Harry Potter.
Oh my God.
Rolling, 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 rolling in the morning. Big old Harry carry glasses. On his forehead he's got a lightning bolt scar. Childhood was tragic, so he took up magic. He can fly a broom, but he can't drive a car. It could not be harder. Here comes Harry Potter.
Oh my God.
He'll be rolling, 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 rolling in the morning.
131 at 560. You better get with it, George. You better go and see the new Harry Potter flick, or else you're going to be, I don't know.
What?
Missing out.
I'll pass.
And here's the facts that says, Uncle Eli, I agree with George that some great songs do get played to death, but Every Breath You Take is one of those rare songs that I never tire of hearing. And I would say amen to that. How could you not love that song?
I did once upon a time, and maybe I listened to more radio than you. Yeah, it got played to death. MTV played it to death. All the radio stations played it to death. I don't know. I heard it just the other day.
We haven't heard it in the Cockamoon's age. 1,052 votes on our poll, by the way. Oh, you are evil, man. You are really evil. Wow. I'm so good it even scares me. Victoria Colliver, who writes in the San Francisco Chronicle, says, and I just do this because maybe some people will go out there and watch Sicko instead of Harry. I mean, they could watch both. They could watch Harry Potter.
That's a socialist propaganda.
Right. And they might watch Sicko because it's an outstanding movie. It needs to be seen. The first, like I told you, the first half is a little slow. It drags. There's something.
Why would you want to have a good health care system anyway? Just give the people the money and die.
Right. And just let Paris Hilton go and get taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Filmmaker Michael Moore might be onto something in his new documentary, Sicko, says Victoria. These days, fewer Americans are buying the claim that the U.S. has the best medical system in the world. With polls showing that health care is Americans' top domestic concern, politicians are scrambling to propose reforms, consumers are buying lower-cost online drugs from foreign sources, and some even become medical tourists to obtain affordable treatment in other countries. Studies show Americans are not healthier, nor are they living longer than people in industrialized nations that spend half per capita of what we do on care. For example, a 2007 Commonwealth Fund study that compared the U.S. with 5 other nations, Australia, Canada, Germany, New Zealand, and the U.K., ranked the U.S. health system last. The study looked at access to health care, efficiency, equity, and health living, among other measures. Healthy living. And a 2000 report by the WHO, the most recent available from the UN organization, put the U.S. 37th out of 190 nations in healthcare services, right between Costa Rica and Slovenia. France was rated number 1, UK 18, Canada number 30.
About 30, man.
And Cuba a couple of notches behind the U.S. at 39. In a New York Times CBS poll conducted in March, healthcare ranked as the top domestic concern, and in Sicko, Moore highlights America's disillusionment with their healthcare system, comparing it to systems in other countries, including France, Canada, Britain, and even Cuba. And like we said the other day, the part about Cuba is just enough to make you scream and cry.
It's embarrassing, but of course it's all a bunch of lies, you know.
Right,
of
course.
That didn't happen, nothing that.
I think Wolf Blitzer ought to be executed on TV at 7:15 tonight. Many health experts say more might be glorified, and they ought to have Dr. Sanjay Gupta right in his lap, too, while they're pulling the swish. Many health experts say more might be glorifying other systems, especially the one in France. Still, they accept his argument that other nations are doing a better job than the U.S. in providing coverage for all residents and making sure that people have access to primary care and preventive services. The U.S. has a private system for all but the poor and elderly. The countries lauded in Sicko have national systems funded primarily through the government. We, unlike any other country, have 46 million people who are uninsured, and that raises a whole host of health and financial issues, said Ken Thorpe, professor of health policy at Emory University. Those issues are undermining the health of Americans. Several studies have shown while the United States may have cutting-edge medical technologies, many people lack access to such advanced care, limiting any positive health impact. Ours is really a sick care system. We have tremendous technical capabilities to deal with people with serious illness, Thorpe said. He argues, though, that it's far more cost-effective to prevent people from getting sick or at least catch illnesses early through better monitoring. Karen Davis, president of the Commonwealth Fund, a nonprofit foundation that supports healthcare research, said many of the problems associated with poor primary care can be traced to the fragmented structure of our healthcare system. U.S. patients often have trouble seeing the same doctor on short notice, see multiple doctors who sometimes fail to communicate with each other, and forego care because they didn't want to spend the money. We tend to have more medical errors than other countries, in part because of this highly specialized, fragmented system, she said. More things can go wrong, and they do go wrong. Moore's film has been criticized for showing the positive side of health systems in other countries while glossing over negative aspects. There's almost only positive attributes about the British, the French, and Cuban system. Invariably, no system is perfect. I think this sort of detracts from his credibility on these comparisons. Steve Zuckerman, health economist with the Urban Institute in Washington. Moore ignores the fact that private coverage still exists in most countries with nationalized health care, and he avoids showing solutions other than adoption of a government-funded system, often known as single-payer. He's trying to be entertaining, but if the objective here is to kick off a serious study about the British and Cuba systems as an alternative to the U.S. system, you need a lot more than what's presented in Sicko, Zuckerman said. In Sicko, Moore addresses one of the biggest criticisms of the Canadian system, long wait times for care, by asking patients in an Ontario emergency room how long they had to wait. All responded that they got treated quickly. But the Commonwealth Fund report found that both U.S. and Canadian patients were more likely to wait 6 days or more for an appointment. Waiting times for specialist or elective surgery were the shortest in the U.S. and Germany. U.S. patients were less likely than Canadian staff to wait more than 4 hours in the emergency room. Moore also implies that care in Canada, Britain, and France is virtually free. He dismisses claims that the French are overtaxed by showing the comfortable life of a French couple who even have money left over to travel. But la vie française isn't entirely rosé. It's not all rosy. The country has the highest unemployment rate of 9%, along with high taxes. In France, taxes amount to more than 44% of gross domestic product, compared to 26% in the U.S. Still, the U.S. spends a higher percentage of its gross domestic product on health than any other country, more than 16% compared to France's 10.7%. The U.S. spends over $6,000 per person in public and private funds, compared with $3,100 per capita spending in France. Americans living in France generally praise the French system. Roderick Beck, former New Yorker who moved to Paris this spring, said the profit motive that drives insurance companies as well as physicians is the central problem with the U.S. health system. What are those insurance companies doing at the most fundamental level? Collecting cash and paying out benefits, said Beck, 45, who works for a telecommunications firm. Governments using taxation and simple health care card that do that more efficiently than an insurance-based system. Bruce Gain, 41, a U.S. journalist living in France since 2003, said the French system is better because the government strictly controls prices and the number of doctors per capita is much higher than in the U.S. And as far as medical technology goes, there are more doctors here to offer the latest treatments and drugs at affordable cost, Gain said. Davis of the Commonwealth Fund said the U.S. doesn't need to adopt nationalized health care to improve efficiency. For example, she said the Netherlands has a well-developed system for after-hours primary care that would reduce emergency room visits. There's a lot we can learn from other countries, she said. The WHO in 2000 ranked the U.S. 37th out of those 191 countries in health care. U.S. life expectancy is nearly 3 years shorter on average than Canadians and about 2 years less than the French. And the U.S. spent about double in 2004 what France, Germany, and Canada per capita in 2004. All of these things. But Dr. Pupta, he'll give you some good propaganda there on CNN. Knock their satellites out of the sky, baby. Knock down the tower. Because there's something in the air.
And it sure is sour.
And you still don't have that. Oh, yeah, you did play that the other day, didn't you? Thunderclap Newman. I wonder if he's kin to Alfred E., you think?
They're kin.
Like your president? 1,060 votes on Chris's poll. He's pretty pumped up about that, even though he's not saying too much.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
It's a great
20
thing.
till 2.
30, man.
From Jolly Fat Ass Joe about 30 million times. I don't know what to tell you, Neil. He's a funny guy, that Jolly Joe. And it looks like my paycheck probably showed up again either yesterday or today down there.
All right. I got hey, Josh Cordes, if you're listening, I got your check.
Oh, you did get it?
Yeah.
How do you like... Let me tell you right now, I'm a witch, okay?
Which one are you?
I'm a witch. Witch of Eastwick. No, I really am. If I could tell you how many times I've picked up that BlackBerry and started to send a text message to somebody who was at the same instant messaging me.
Happens all the time.
To you, too?
Sure.
Oh, then I'm not a witch. Good.
You're
well,
a warlock.
didn't I tell you, because
when
the show was just starting, Chris was giving me crap about, Cordes needs that check now.
Actually, it was as the show started, yeah.
What was it?
We did it on the air.
That's what I just said. I said when the show started. Have you got waxy build up again or what? Have you been listening to that Sid the Yid over there in the morning, or what's going on with you?
The who?
Sid the Kid the Yid.
Never heard of him.
And by the way, George, you wasted 2 pages of my fax paper with that puff piece that somebody sent about him. Why would you send that to me? You really think
for
it was
comedy. No, I didn't. It was ridiculous. Why else would I send it to you? Sure.
Like he belongs on the air? He belongs on the air like I ought to be performing open heart surgery Mount Sinai in a couple hours. Are you kidding
by
me?
a shill.
Right, exactly. I'm going to take a pill.
All right. Hope it doesn't kill you.
Could be a thrill. We got 1,072 votes. We could have made 1,100 today if Chris would have been a little more forceful today instead of just being such a wuss.
Well, I didn't want to, push it too hard because.
Yeah, that's right. Don't be like the Seeds. That song. You're pushing too hard. You push this.
Who?
The Seeds. Way before your time. I would say about 1968 or 9. You got that, George, in your collection there, the Seeds, and you're pushing too hard. No. 68, I would say.
Start pushing now.
Push this.
You're pushing too hard, you're pushing on me. You're pushing too hard, what you want me to be. You're pushing too hard about the things you say.
That's Miss Fudge's favorite song when he gets together with Man Colder. You're pushing it too hard. Now, what year was that?
One moment, please.
I said 68.
I don't have a date for it.
Oh, good. What the hell is this?
Google
It's going to make loud sound. What does it say here? I see. Obesity has long been blamed on weak willpower, overeating, genetics, and lack of exercise. Now scientists increasingly are seeing signs that suggest there may be an additional contributor, food addiction. Monday night and again today, citizens of the nation's leading researchers in obesity, nutrition, and addiction plan to discuss whether food, I see that's going on now, whether food has addictive properties for some people. They're in New Haven, Connecticut, at a meeting sponsored by Yale University's Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity. We believe there's sufficient science to suggest there's something to this, so we're bringing the leading authorities together to decide whether food addiction is real and what the underlying psychology and biology might be, said Kelly Brownell, director at the Rudd Center. It's surprising that our field has overlooked this concept for so long, he says. Society blames obesity only on the people who have it and has been close-minded to other explanations. How long have I been screaming about that? Addicted to certain foods. Haven't I been screaming and yelling?
Yeah.
What, lame excuse?
Sure.
Support for the idea of food addiction comes from animal and human brain studies, including brain imaging research on humans, says Mark Gold, chief of addiction medicine at McKnight Brain Institute at the University of Florida, who's co-chair for the meeting. In a medical setting, we evaluated people who were too heavy to leave their reclining chairs and too big to walk out of the doorway, he says. They do not eat to survive. They love eating and spent the day planning their new takeout choices. Psychiatrist Nora Volkow, director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, a speaker at the meeting, says the research in this area is complicated, but most people's weight problems are not caused by food addiction. Not.
Sitting on your fat ass is an addiction, too.
I beg your pardon?
I said, how's it going? Keep going.
No, go ahead.
I said, sitting on your fat ass is an addiction also.
What are you trying to say?
That if you'd move around more like that bit, you wouldn't be fat. Not you. People.
No, you meant you.
And you.
Oh. Some studies focus on dopamine, a neurotransmitter in the brain associated with pleasure and reward. Impaired function of the brain dopamine system could make some people more vulnerable to compulsive eating, which could lead to morbid obesity, Volkow said. She did groundbreaking research in this area while at the U.S. Department of Energy's Brookhaven National Lab. For some compulsive eaters, the drive to eat is so intense that it overshadows the motivation to engage in other rewarding activities, and it becomes difficult to exercise self-control, she says. This is similar to the compulsion that an addict feels to take drugs. When this occurs, the compulsive eating behavior can interfere with their well-being and health. No paycheck. How do you like that? I just got an email here, no paycheck. You better run right in there into accounting and say, what the hell is going on there? And Duff Lindsay says the company is asked about, what are they talking about? Well, what are these people doing here? I'm on the air and I'm getting 85,000 messages here now.
Keeps it interesting, I guess.
Yeah. I'm on the air and Muff Lindsay is bada-beep, bada-boop, bada. Whatever you want, Duff, go ahead and sell it, okay? If you can sell something, we'll take the money. You know how that works. No paycheck. I think I should go on strike right now. Today is the 10th of July, last time I checked. Where the hell's my paycheck, Joe Bell? Can you believe that? As of 1:30, no paycheck?
Well, they got to pay Boca Brian somehow. They can't pay both of you.
Sooner or later, eventually this always happens. They've been nice and early, a day or two early for a long time now, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when you expect it the least, no paycheck. What is that?
Sooner or later. Unless you want to hear a different version. Donna's got a version, different song.
What do we do about this?
I think you should
Am I going to have to spend this afternoon getting on the phone, or are you going to handle this for me?
Me? I mean, I'll go over there to accounting if you want me to during this night.
I don't want you just to go over to accounting. I want you to go over there and jump up and down on somebody's desk and scream and yell and holler and drop your pants and drop a huge load right on somebody's desk is what I want you to do.
I'll go inquire and then get back to you and let you know what they say.
Yeah, and the way to inquire is say, where the hell is Neil's paycheck, for Christ's sakes? What is wrong with you people? Are you people crazy?
Because if you don't get it today, you're not going to do the show tomorrow.
That's right. If I don't get that check today, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. That's right. And maybe not Thursday either. See, you thought you were going to go clever with that.
Hey, don't go overboard.
Go crazy.
I mean, what kind of bunch of garbage is this? This is what happens when you... It's just like the thing with the poll, Chris. It's the same thing. When you get complacent and you assume that they're going to do, like things that ordinary, like real business people do, all of a sudden, no surprise, no paycheck on payday.
Bites you in the ass.
Joe Bell. This is not my idea of the way things are supposed to be, okay? I mean, yesterday was the 9th. They had plenty of opportunity to mail it on Friday or whatever, so it would show up there yesterday. Or maybe like the 10th, which is today is payday. But here we go again. Beasley Reed once again rearing their ugly head. And there's nothing worse than ugly head. Believe me when I tell you, I should know.
We all know.
No, what is that all about? That paycheck has got to be there. I want you to go into accounting, and I want you to carry on like Rumpelstiltskin in Heat.
Well, I'm not
I want you to start throwing crap. I want you to turn desks upside down. Then I want you to go into Joe Bell's office and say, hey, listen, you fat effer.
You trying to get him fired like Crow?
Pendejo.
Yeah, I'm only going to be gentlemanly when I go over there to that department. That's right.
Well, I appreciate your efforts in advance.
Thank you.
Always some excitement when you work for these bastards, folks. Let me tell you right now, there's always like a little bit of excitement. Oh, well, a payday, what's that? Yeah. You expect us to pay you? You're barely even working now. That's right. That's a good excuse. 1:53 at QAM. This is the reward for the late nights and the weekend hours.
So bad.
No ticky, no washi, baby. That's the way it works.
Read your text.
I beg your pardon?
Read your text message.
A war on terrorism is what they say. To get away with having everything their way. Nobody pays attention through their busy little day, while our leadership has gone insane. $7 million is what we all paid to build a bomb that makes your enemies gay. They postponed the project when the word got out about a bomb that turns a foxhole brown. Oi! Get bomb, blow them all away by making them want to blow them all away. Get bomb. In times of war, you need a different kind of sword. Get bomb, turning soldiers into fags, trading their machine gun for a Prada bag. Get bomb, a manly way to fight. Let's sip a Chardonnay tonight. Driven by self-hating, homophobic fears, the Pentagon officials had a great idea. Let's show to the world who the boss is here by turning everybody queer. Gay bomb, that will teach them all. They can walk and French their nails and shave their balls. Gay bomb, gay bomb. What harm will it do if they drop a gay bomb over you? Then you would be a homo.
You carry.
Bye, bye, bye.